Happiness comes through relationships, through mutual understanding, through moving to your goal. When you have a goal, you get happiness from it. Our goal is happiness, but as we also have egoism, the Vedas say there are false ego and true ego. The false ego is misunderstanding of self. Ego means that you understand your personality, and we have this misunderstanding since birth. This misunderstanding means that I am happy only if I am in the center. You can see that a small child constantly demands attention. And when we become older, it stays, but it is more hidden. Each person still thinks about his own happiness more, but developed people that act from the true ego, the false ego belongs to our fate that torments us. By fate, each person has difficulties, and they are all in the field of our egoism. For example, where can we expect suffering? There, where we want to have happiness most. That's our ego. For example, a young woman wants to get married badly. How does egoism work? It's interesting. She wants to get married really badly. What next? Does she get married? No, here is what happens. She feels very sad. She loses her beauty. She is sad of loneliness. It destroys her beauty. And for a man, a wife means enjoyment. The wife is enjoyment with happiness. And when the woman wants to get married badly, she cannot give happiness because she is sad. As a result, she is lonely. On the other hand, if there is true egoism and the girl serves everyone, then her psyche is filled with relationships. When the woman is filled with relationships, she blossoms, she is attractive and she is looked at. When the woman is focused in the direction of ego, and ego eats your psyche up, then the person suffers in this area. For example, my psyche is focused on health. I want to be healthy. Does it mean that I will take care of my health? Not necessarily. To be healthy, you must be austere. That means there should be a goal in your life. I want to be happy, and that means that my psyche is focused on pain, where there is no health. And the more psychical energy there is, the more sensitive it is, and the more illnesses there are. For example, a man has problems with sexual functions. He is focused on it, and his problems increase. If you pay less attention to it, but you get developed personally, the problems go away. Focusing on your pain or problem is the starting point for the fate to torment us. And precisely this is the manifestation of false ego, misunderstanding of yourself as a personality. By nature, we are prone to serve and not to accept service. Actually, we are souls, we are eternal, and the biggest happiness we achieve is when we serve. For example, a mother that serves her child does not get ill, she is not bothered with herself, and she feels fine. And a man who self-improves, he takes care about his family, he has no time to be sick, he is active, but when a person relaxes, for example, you go on vacation, you get ill. There are fights also. There is this phenomenon. Two people did not even get there on their vacation and they get relaxed. When you relax, you want service for yourself. And in that moment, we're going on vacation, and this day before vacation, there is surely going to be a conflict, because each one wants to enjoy, he wants to receive happiness, and there is a contradiction, because each has a happiness of his own. Similarly, relationships in a collective work. Firstly, you must know that people usually confuse these things. People confuse business relationships with friendship and relative relationships. I have a lot of lectures for the leaders and managers, and we talk about all these types of relationships. If a person does not know about that, there will be big trouble. For example, a leader must know that he should not be friends with his subordinates. If he does it, then the collective falls apart, because subordinates have less responsibility, hence they want more personal benefits. And if he has relationships with his senior, then he wants to use these relationships. Also, the leader must never have a lover at his work, because through her the collective will be destroyed later. Maybe she will not do it on her own, but she will have friends that will make demands to affect the leader. There are rules that the person should follow when he creates relationships in the collective. Firstly, you must know this rule. Business relationships are based on duty and not love. Especially, women should understand that, because by nature, women do not build business relationships. This is quite revolutionary for some women. A woman's psyche is built of relatives' relationships, close. Intimacy is in woman's nature. Business relationships are manly. We can see that these relationships are prominent in the army, and this type of behavior, when orders are given, is alien to women. It is hard to imagine a woman being ordered like that. Women want intimate relationships. It is hard for her to take orders. It is the same in the family life. If someone wants to explain something to a woman, he must do it very softly and without pressure, because when a woman is pressed, she boils on the inside, she cannot accept it. But strictness is acceptable. When you're strict, it means that you are serious. The woman can accept it, but she does not accept rudeness or formalities, business style. But between colleagues, there is business style. It does not mean that a woman cannot behave businesslike. That means that it is hard for her. Her psyche is tensed, it wears off. She cannot do it for a long time. Even though she is a leader and she has a lot of strength, it is hard for her to do it for a long time. Women do not feel like taking more and more responsibility at work. They get tired of it. But men like it. The more control, the more strength there is for them. In general, women in working collectives tend to have close relationships, and they suffer because of it, as well as other people around. For example, if women have close relationships, there is always contradiction to business relationships. For example, two women became friends and they must work. In work, there are certain demands. And one woman takes it lightly and does not work so hard, and the friend next to her understands that it's wrong, and she cannot do a remark because they have close relationships. If she does a remark, then her friend is resentful, and there is a conflict because business relationships, in this case, are destroyed by desire to have close relationships. Women want to be friends. Basic needs of a woman at work are: there must be time to speak on the phone, there must be time for snacks, to have some tea, there must be opportunity to leave earlier from time to time, and to be a little late. Is it not so? This is what women want at work, but it has nothing to do with work at all. And that means unbusinesslike approach. So in relationships with women, managers must be very strict, they must keep distance, there must be a job description, and as it is hard for a woman to work at all, her field is family, she is stronger there, she has more opportunities to use her mind. And it is much harder for a woman at work because there is difference between man's and woman's mind. A woman is very strong in the field of life where everything is known, and a man is strong there where he must demonstrate his innovative abilities, his character, where he needs to achieve something, to break through, so there is something unknown. For example, school. The first, second, third grade, we see that boys study worse. For girls, everything is known. Here is home task, here is my textbook, and we see that girls study really well, and they pass all exams, they have A's, and boys are a bit lost, but gradually. But when studying goes on, there is more and more new material, then boys become stronger, because when there is much new, they feel better and they study better. Similarly, at work, a woman is very dependent on how her tasks are well defined, and she must also know where there are some slacks. because the woman has one problem at work. Her psyche is like a river. It also moves there where there is something interesting. If she loses interest, she has no enthusiasm, she does not care about salary. If it is not interesting to her, then there are a few stages of situation development. There are 4 stages. The first is the woman is interested, it is all great, she does not get tired. Stage 2, I am bored. That means she becomes tired and it is difficult to work. Stage 3, I do not want to work there anymore. I'm tired. And stage 4, I quit. Is this familiar? Who has been working in one place without these waves? Please raise your hands. What job do you have? I ask this question because there are professions for women where they are strong. You see, there were just 3 women. 25 years in epaulets. Epaulets? Who are you? I work in a maximum security prison. And you have no disappointments? It is all great? Do you have a family? And it is great? Yes. Well, that is extremely rare. That's an exception. But such things also happen. Who else? Please tell us. Security. Women in Omsk are very unusual. The point is that I work a 24-hour shift and then I devote 3 days to my children. Oh, I see. And is it the same for you? Well, it's okay. It happens like that. Women can work, it's okay. I will describe a woman's field of work. Women are very strong there where there are children. When you have to raise and teach children, these are kindergartens, these are schools. People are different by nature, but all women are natural teachers. So any woman can teach something to children, to pass the knowledge. The first teacher in your life is your mother. The next field is cooking. Women are always confident there. There are no shifts nor waves there. The next field is taking care of old people, and the next is treatment. Also charities and taking care about the nature, like working with plants, animals. Women are confident and they feel well there. There are intimate relationships with children, with old people. It is much easier for women, but characters are different. For example, you too have a strong character and you can feel well in any environment. But that is rare. Normally, women are very sensitive and they have difficulties inside about any work. But there are some women that cannot work anywhere at all. They just cannot, because their sensitivity is higher than ability to take business relationships. Raise your hand if you are like that. That's normal. That's womanly nature to be in the family. you do not have to work.
В любом случае, если
Anyway,
женщины заняты в труде, тогда в
if
этом
there are
случае
women
в коллективе
at work,
те, кто руководят
then
этим коллективом, должны
the manager
знать некоторые вещи.
must know a few
Первое.
things.
Женщиной
Firstly,
в коллективе нельзя строить
you
близкие
cannot
отношения.
establish close relationships with women in the
Женщина на
team.
санскрите звучит, ну,
In
слово женщина
Sanskrit,
на санскрите
woman
звучит
is stri.
стри. Слово стри переводится как
Stri
что-то
is translated
постоянно
as
расширяющееся.
something that
То есть
expands
женщина, она всегда
constantly.
расширяет свои полномочия.
A
Такова
woman
природа.
always
Если,
expands
допустим,
her authority.
начальник или руководитель женщины
If
начал строить
the manager
более фамильярные какие-то отношения,
has
то это
familiar
значит,
relationships with
рано
the
или
woman,
поздно
that means
она
that
будет
sooner
под
or
ее.
later she will control him.
Ну, то есть он попадет под ее влияние.
He will be
Потому что
under
женщина,
her influence
прирожденный
because
политик,
the woman
прирожденный
is
стратег
a
в отношениях.
diplomat by nature.
Отношения — это ее сфера жизни.
Relationships
знает,
is the
как
field of
управлять
any
отношениями,
woman.
как
She knows
сделать
how
так, чтобы
to
отношения
control
были ей
them
подчинены. Поэтому
and to
руководитель
be in
должен
charge.
держаться от женщин на
So the
хорошем
manager
расстоянии.
must keep distance
Должен,
from women.
хотя они будут стараться
Although
улыбаться и,
they will
м,
try
строить
to
отношения
get
поближе,
closer,
у них будет всегда такая
this
тенденция.
tendency will always be there.
Второе правило.
The second rule is that you must be more lenient to women in the team, in your collective. A woman is more obedient by nature, and so she torments herself when she is asked to do something, and her psyche works like a capacitor. First, she stays for long hours, and she is asked because it is more difficult to ask men. The woman is obedient, and she follows the orders of her boss. Women are more obedient in relationships, and so she stays extra hours, she works more, but as business relationships are very difficult for her, it exhausts her psyche, and in her memory there is this violence that she had at work. As a result, she is not going to work long there. And the manager must understand that if there is a woman on the team, then her work schedule must be very fixed. You cannot try to give extra job that causes a rebel in the psyche of a woman, even though she is prone to obey and to do what she is asked. The next important rule is that if there are women at work, there surely are going to be quarrels. Women still will have close relationships with each other. There will be gossips, and they will go as high as the manager. And if the manager said a bit too much that one of women works better and she is closer to him, then she is the one that will come to him and tell everything. There constantly will be some quarrels, some difficulties in relationships. It is inevitable when there are women on the team. So if there are women in your collective at work, there always will be difficulties. And the best thing to do is to give strict boundaries for women, but very kind approach. You should be very kind to women at work, but in firm boundaries, with no exceptions, because one exception leads to another and then it becomes a rule. If you allow a woman to do something once, then it becomes a
Она
rule.
расширяет свои полномочия все время.
She is free, she expands her authority.
Исключений в женском коллективе не должно
There
быть.
must be no exceptions for women.
И на это есть еще одна причина.
And
Знаете,
there is
какая?
another reason for that.
Женщины очень сильно
Women
в глаза
see
смотрят, и
everything
они
very
очень
well,
сильно
and
склонны
they
завидовать.
are very
Когда кому-то
envious
больше,
when another woman is allowed more.
положено что-то,
That
чем ей.
causes great
Вызывает
pain in
сильный
the
боль в
heart.
сердце. Если женщина
If a
увидела, что
woman
кто-то
sees
имеет
that
преимущество в
someone
отношениях
has
каких-то,
advantages
то это ей
in
очень больно
relationships,
на работе.
that is very hurtful
Начинается
at
сразу
work. And there go problems.
требовать свои права,
She
отстаивать свои
demands
права.
her
Поэтому
rights,
исключений не должно быть,
so
никаких, и преимуществ
there
должно быть
must
всё
be no
очень по закону, по
exceptions,
правилам, которые
no
должны быть.
advantages, everything must be according to written
Я
rules.
говорю чисто просто сейчас не о каких-то
I am
глубинных вещах.
not
Я говорю о
speaking about
правилах,
some deep
связанных
things.
с психикой
These
человека.
are mere
Как
rules
работает природа.
about human mind.
То, что природа у
I'm not
женщины
saying
хуже,
that
чем у мужчины.
woman's nature is
Женщина
worse
это
than
лучшая
man's.
половина человечества.
Women are the
Особенно
better
женщина,
part of humanity.
так как
They
она
are
чувствует
made
себя,
of love energy.
поэтому с ней
And
непросто.
as it is sensitive, there are difficulties.
Мужской коллектив тоже имеет свои особенности.
Male collective also has
Первая
its
особенность заключается в том,
peculiarities. And the
мужчина
first
не
one is
понимает,
that
а,
a man does not
замечания.
understand remarks.
Психика мужчин не понимает замечаний
A
и
man's
советов,
psyche does not
а
get
психика женщины,
advices and
наоборот,
remarks.
не понимает наказания.
And on the
Она
contrary,
понимает
a female
замечания и
psyche
советы.
does not understand
психика мужчин
punishment,
не
but
понимает
accepts
замечаний и
advices and remarks.
Психика мужчины понимает только поступок.
A male psyche
допустим,
only
мужчина в
understands
коллективе
actions.
И он
For example,
совершил
there
какой-то
is
неправильный
a
поступок.
man on the
Если ты
team
ему
and
делаешь
he did
замечание,
something wrong.
то это
If
ничего не
you
меняет.
say something to him, you make a
Его
remark, that changes
нужно
nothing in his behavior.
совершить поступок по отношению
There
к нему.
must be an action,
И это тогда его сразу
and
отрезвляет,
then
отрезвляет. Точно
he
так
will
же в
sober
отношениях
up.
с ребенком,
Similarly, when you teach your
мальчиком. Если
boy,
мальчику говорить, там,
if
не
you
делай то-то, то
tell
это не
him,
работает.
don't do this,
Нужен
it does not
поступок,
work.
нужно ограничение
There must be
какое-то,
an
нужно какое-то
action,
наказание,
some boundary, some
какое-то сильное
punishment,
действие, которое сразу
some
его приводит в
strong
порядок, и
action
он тут же как
that
бы
brings him
понимает, что
to
это не
senses,
надо.
and he understands at once that he should not do it. The man's psyche is more fixed and persistent in desire to do what he does. There is persistence in behavior in some field. Women are more loyal, softer. A woman's persistence is obvious in personal life. She is like a stone, she is unbending. So relationships are always the way a woman wants in personal life. If there are family relationships, they must be the way the woman needs, not man. Otherwise there will be problems, some destructions. Sooner or later, inevitably it will be the way the woman wants, because her psyche is very firm in personal relationships and very soft and loyal in business relationships. But the man's psyche, his mind in business relationships is very firm and resilient. So you must have strict rules with men. How do you think? Who is more capable of doing some work not according to the inner calling, a man or a woman? The woman? You are mistaken. The woman can only do what he is not meant to as long as she can. She can do anything. You ask her and she will, but for a very short time. Because she does it out of love and respect. But as for the long term, for a woman it is better to work where she likes it and she is interested. Otherwise she will not last. So when you hire a woman, first ask her what she likes. It is easy for a woman to get employed. They agree to everything. Will you do this? I will. I will do anything, just hire me. They agree to everything, but some time passes and appears that everything is wrong. She does not want to do this, she does not like that, that is difficult. So when you interview a woman, you must understand what she likes, and then you can hire her for that. If it matches, she likes this and there is a job opening, it's great, she will do a lot of good. There are work fields for women and for men. For men are the ones where willpower is required, achieving something, and for women are the ones with relationships and association. For example, answering a phone. What exactly do you do at your work? You work at a checkpoint, so you have relationships. You speak to people. That is a female work, because giving orders and punishing is not for women. There must be relationships for women. In general, you should understand that there are three types of managers in any field, depending on development of personality. There are managers in the mode of ignorance who only care about their profit, and mostly they treat people like expendables. In such collective, normally the atmosphere is either rude or cold. The atmosphere depends on the manager. Cold atmosphere means that you work, you receive your money, and you go away. No relationships, no celebrations for everyone. Nothing connects people but their work. They are just like ants. They come, they work, they leave. That is ignorant, and people on such team lose individuality and suffer greatly. We have a lot of it. It is very hard to work like that, and it always comes from the manager. The second type is mode of passion. It's a bit different. When the atmosphere is passionate, then the collective cares much about reputation. Everyone is well dressed, they talk politely. Relationships are very refined, elaborate, showy, smiles on the faces, elaborate delicacy. In such collectives, there is some brand, they have some reputation, they are cool, they have their style. It is very attractive from the outside. It feels like there are relationships and something serious, because the looks is very important to them. They have business style of relationships, there is order, very correct behavior, and so on. But in such collectives, a person is still an expendable, because if there is no need for you in such a team, you are fired. You simply get kicked out of an ignorant collective. But here you will be told, "Thank you very much for your cooperation, but we no longer require your services." It's about the same. But that is unavoidable. I guess that maybe 60% of all work is passionate, probably about 20% in ignorance, and the rest in the mode of goodness. In goodness collectives, creativity in work is valued, and people who like to work.
В благостных коллективах люди собираются
There
вместе на
people
праздники,
gather together
и
for
они
holidays,
заботятся друг о друге.
and they
Старшее
take care
начальство
about each
заботится
other.
о подчиненных.
The
Когда
managers
человек
take
заболел,
care
ему
about
дают
their
возможность
employees.
полечиться.
If a
Когда
person gets sick,
в
he
беде,
has time to
коллектив
get fine.
помогает ему.
If there is some
Но
trouble,
руководитель
everyone
благостных
helps.
коллективов чаще всего
The managers
имеет
in
совесть, и
goodness
с ним можно
collectives
поговорить
usually has
по-человечески,
conscience.
просто попросить
You
его,
can
он
speak
будет
to
думать,
him
как
like a
помочь.
person and he
В
will
благостных
try to
коллективах
help you.
людей не вышвыривают просто так.
People are not kicked out for
Если
nothing.
увольняют, то по
There is
какой-то
always a
серьезной
very
причине.
serious reason
В
for
благостных
firing.
коллективах
In goodness collectives,
начальник
the
внешне
leader,
строгий,
the manager, looks strict, but on the inside he is kind.
начальник внешне
In
добрый, но
passionate
внутри
collectives,
строгий.
the leader looks kind, but he is cold and strict on the inside. He does not really need people, but he is very polite to them.
Там всё очень просто.
And it is even simpler in ignorant collectives. The manager hits the table, swears, and everything is decided. Raise your hands who work in ignorant collectives,
Кто в
in
благости,
passionate and in
кто
goodness,
вообще нигде не работает.
and who does not work,
Остальные воздержались.
and others abstained from voting. As I supposed, mostly people work in passionate
Теперь, от чего
collectives.
зависит место деятельности?
What does your place of work depend on?
Понимаете, есть развитие
There is
человека.
personal
Человек
development,
себя
and a
отождествляет с тем,
person
как он развивается.
associates himself with the way he develops.
Его
There is
судьба,
development
то есть
and
жизнь,
there
то,
is
что
fate,
тянется за ним.
what
допустим,
drags
если
after
человек жил
him.
определенными понятиями в
For
жизни, то
example,
такую
the
работу он
person lived
получает.
with certain attitude and
Работа
he
всегда
gets
это то, что
his
было
job
у меня
accordingly.
просто.
Your
Работа не
job is what
меняется
you had in
сразу,
your
потому что сначала
past. It
меняется
does not
окружение
change at
человека в
once,
жизни, его
because
вера
first the
меняется,
person
окружение,
changes his
а потом
fate,
только
his
работа, а потом только
surroundings,
семья.
and only
Семья
then
имеется в виду
work
отношения в
changes
семье.
and later
Это всё
family, meaning
происходит в
family
зависимости от степени
relationships
кармы.
change.
То есть самая легкая
It
карма
all
это
depends on the
дружба,
karma.
поэтому
The
друзья
lightest
меняются
karma
быстро.
is
Поменялось
friends, so
увлечение
you can
какое-то в
change
жизни,
your friends
друзья новые
quickly.
появились. Это быстро
You
меняется.
have new interests, you have
Но
new
работу
friends.
поменять, чтобы она
But
благостной
to
была, уже
change
не
your
просто. Для
work,
этого
to
нужно
have
иметь другую
goodness
судьбу.
work,
Для этого
it
нужно
is more
иметь больше
different. You
благочестия в
need
сердце.
better
В жизни
fate, you
благочестие
have
это
more piety in
бескорыстные
your
добрые
heart.
дела дают человеку счастье
Piety
и
is your
развитие в жизни.
selfless deeds that give you
Потому что
happiness and
невежественные люди
development.
просто пользуются своей прошлой
Because
кармой, пока есть
ignorant
возможность.
people just use
Они
their
ничего не
past karma
создают в
for as
плане
long as
счастья
they
своего,
want,
ничего не
and
создают,
they
они
do
только
nothing for
используют.
future happiness, they just use.
Ложный эгоизм не
False
приносит
ego
счастья,
does not
только
give you
истинный
happiness,
эгоизм
only
приносит
true
развитие
ego
человека и счастье.
gives
Люди
development
страсти
and
иногда
happiness.
хорошо поступают, иногда
Passionate
плохо,
people
поэтому
sometimes
у
do
них
right, sometimes
не
wrong,
усугубляется, не улучшается
so
ситуация
it does
жизни,
not get
счастья.
better or
Но
worse for
благостные
them
люди,
in
которые
life.
стараются
But
желать
people
всем
in the
счастья,
mode of
работают над
goodness
собой,
who try to
у них
wish everyone
запас
happiness
благочестия
and
повышается, и
self-improve,
жизнь
they
меняется
have
к
more
лучшему
piety,
постепенно,
and
в каких-то
gradually
глубинных
their
своих
life
вещах.
changes for
Коллектив
better in
меняется в
some
лучшую
deep
сторону в
matters.
жизни, потом семья.
First, they have
Но
a
сначала
better
отношение к
work
себе и к
collective,
Богу должно
then
поменяться.
it is better in the family.
Теперь
But
давайте
first, there
поговорим о
must
том,
be a
как
new
в благостных
attitude to
страстях
yourself
и
and to
невежественных
God.
коллективах надо себя вести.
Let us speak
В
about how
невежественном
to
коллективе
behave
надо
in
желать всем
different work
счастья, ни с
collectives.
кем не устраивать
In
близкие
ignorant
отношения,
collectives, you
выполнять
must
свой долг
wish
передо
everyone
мной.
happiness,
Там
follow
не
your
нужно
duties,
пытаться
and not
жить.
have close
Там надо
relationships.
просто выполнять свои обязанности.
You must not try to live there, you only
Например,
do
никому не
your
придет в
duties.
голову,
For example,
жить в
no
туалете.
one considers living in the
Сам
bathroom.
просто выполнил свои
You
обязанности и
just
пошел.
do what you have to there and you leave.
Там нет жизни.
There is no life
Некоторые
there.
там живут, конечно, телевизор
But,
ставят,
well, some people
там
do live
нравится
there, they even put a
оставаться надолго.
TV. They like to
Ну,
stay
это
for
уже
long there,
извращение.
but that is perversion.
Туалет это невежественное место.
Bathroom is an
Точно так же
ignorant
и в
place.
коллективе, где
Similarly,
царит злая, грубая
when
атмосфера, там
the
не
atmosphere
надо
is
пытаться жить.
angry
Жизнь
and
означает
rude,
любовь. Там не
you
надо
must not try
строить
to live
дружбу,
there.
строить какие-то
Life
отношения.
is love.
Просто отработал
In
и
an
ушел.
ignorant
Это
collective,
самый
you have
лучший
no
вариант.
friendship,
Если там
you
начинаешь
just
дружить,
work and
ну,
leave.
допустим, у тебя там появился
For
друг,
example,
это
you
хорошо.
get a
Но
friend
вместе
there.
с другом
That's
появится и
great.
враг, потому что
But
если ты
along with
начинаешь
that,
там
you get
строить
an
близкие
enemy. Because if
отношения,
you try to have
невежественной
close
среде любые
relationships
близкие отношения
in
вызывают
ignorant
злобу и сарказм у
collective,
остальных людей.
that causes anger from other people, and God forbid you reveal your spiritual feelings there, you will be considered a sectarian at
В
once.
страстных коллективах
In passionate collectives,
поведение должно быть
you must
таким, чтобы
reveal your
проявлять свои творческие
creativity.
способности. В страстном коллективе можно проявлять свои
You
творческие
can
способности,
demonstrate it.
входить в дело, в деятельность, в
You
работу.
can emerge into your work, into activities.
Можно по
You
труду.
can
То есть
find
есть люди, с которыми
comrades,
тебе интересно работать,
like friends you like to
обмениваться
work with,
деловой информацией, там,
to exchange
развиваться в
business
деловой
information,
сфере. То есть там
to
есть
develop
какая-то свобода.
in the
Но
business
там
field.
нет свободы для
There is some
духовной
freedom
жизни.
there,
Например, в
but
страстном
there is
коллективе,
no
если вот в этом
spiritual
деловом
life.
коллективе ты начнешь
If you
рассказывать
try to
про то, что
tell
ты услышал на
there
лекциях,
about what you heard in the
никто не поймет.
lectures, no one will understand you. They will ask, why do you need
Там
it? What
нет
is
этой
that?
свободы.
There is
В
no
страстных
freedom
коллективах
for
нет
spiritual life.
возможности
You
обменяться
cannot
какими-то глубокими
exchange
душевными
some
вещами.
deep feelings,
И не надо
and you should
пытаться
not
это
try
делать.
to do it.
Это неправильно.
It
Это
is
приведет
wrong.
к страданиям потом.
It will bring suffering.
Скажете, где же тогда мне
You will
общаться?
ask, then when
Поэтому
can I
нужна другая
associate?
среда.
There should be
На самом деле,
another
если вы хотите
atmosphere
раскрывать
for
свое
that.
сердце,
If
тогда
you
вам
want to
надо
open
искать
your
свою
heart, then you need to
Потому что
find your
благостные
faith,
люди, они всегда
because
общаются в
goodness
атмосфере,
people
в
always
которой они
associate
вместе
in
собираются,
atmosphere
с
where
одинаковыми
there are
интересами,
people
в
with
которых они
similar
в этой
interests
атмосфере, они развиваются
and
духовно.
they develop
То есть есть для этого
spiritually.
специальные места.
There are
Страстные люди боятся
special
веровать,
places for
боятся
that.
какую-то веру,
Passionate
приветствуют
people
люди,
are
вообще
afraid of
считают, что
faith,
это всё бред.
and ignorant people think that is
Страстные
nonsense.
люди не считают, что вера
Passionate
это
people
уже
think that faith is
этого не нам не надо.
unnecessary,
Благостные люди стремятся
and
к
goodness
духовности.
people
Они стремятся
strive
развиваться
for
внутренним
spirituality. They want moral inner
нравом.
development.
Поэтому нужно ходить
So,
на такие лекции,
You should attend
нужно
such lectures.
искать место, где будет
You
благостное
should
общение. Это могут быть
Search
храмы,
for goodness
различные
association.
а,
It may be a
культурные
temple,
мероприятия духовные.
some cultural events.
Есть паломничество по святым
There are
местам. У нас
pilgrimages.
есть такое мероприятие.
We organize this event, a little
У нас есть
advertisement
такое
now.
мероприятие, называется фестиваль
We
благости.
make
Этот фестиваль
Благость
проводится в Анапе.
Goodness
Кто из вас был
Festival.
на фестивале? Поднимите.
It takes place in Anapa. Raise your hands, those who attended. Amazingly,
Вот знаете,
none.
что есть такой фестиваль,
Then you should know there is Благость Festival.
там
Over
отдельный
600
фестиваль для
people
детей,
come.
и люди
We have a separate festival for
занимаются
children,
работой над собой, то
and
есть они
morning
изучают,
till
как правильно
evening
жить.
people
Там
self-improve.
йога, там
They
пранаям,
learn how to
цигун,
live. There is yoga,
танцы, женщины
pranayama,
обучаются
tsugun,
танцевать,
dancing for women.
вечером концерт,
We have
авторские
concerts in the
песни,
evening,
различные спектакли.
different
Очень
plays.
красивые мероприятия.
It's very
Вот.
great.
Целый день какие-то тренинги,
There are
лекции,
trainings and
разные
lectures
лектора.
all day long.
Очень
A lot
вкусная
of great
пища, приготовленная
lecturers.
с любовью.
Very tasty
Никто не
food cooked
курит,
with
никто
love.
не пьет,
No one
не
smokes
ругается
or
матом, все
drinks
здоровы,
or swears.
улыбаются друг другу.
Everyone
и так далее.
smiles and greets
Две
each
недели.
other. It
Такой
lasts
атмосфере,
2
когда
weeks.
находится, он потом не
After
может
2 weeks in
уехать.
such atmosphere,
Слезами на
people
глазах
cannot
людей.
leave.
Это
They
удивительная
go
такая
with tears in their
мероприятие,
eyes.
которое
That is
переворачивает
amazing.
судьбы людей.
It changes
Часто девушки,
lives of
которые не могут
people,
найти себе
and
никого в жизни,
often
они приезжают
young
туда и
women who
знакомятся
can
с
find
парнями,
no one
которые не могут
go
найти.
there and get
Потому что люди
acquainted
все
with
вот
nice
замкнуты в
young
деловой
men.
атмосфере. Мы чем
People are
занимаемся? У нас
usually
есть только
secluded
работа
in
и
their
дом.
business.
Людям очень
They
трудно
have
найти
work
себе
and
ту среду,
home.
в
It
которой
is hard
они
for
должны как-то
people to find
жить.
association,
У нас также на сайте
good
есть
surrounding
группа
to live
ВКонтакте
in.
«Законы счастливой жизни»
Also
называется.
in
Ну, есть
ВКонтакте
несколько разных
social
групп, и в этой
network
группе
there are
ВКонтакте,
different groups,
200 с лишним
and
тысяч
one of
человек
them
подписано. То есть они
called
общаются
The
друг
Laws
с
of Happy
другом.
Life. There are over 200,000 people. People
Фестиваль
can
будет
associate
уже
there.
скоро. У нас
The
начинается
festival is
24
coming
сентября.
soon. It
Заедьте
starts on
в
the
Анапу.
24th of September.
Места
Please
еще есть.
come. We
Можно
still have
приехать и
vacancies.
получить вот эту вот удивительную такую
You
атмосферу,
can
которую
come
человек
and
развивает.
experience this
Там
atmosphere
приезжает много
of
наставников,
development.
моих друзей,
A lot of
таких
mentors,
людей очень
a lot of my friends
интересных.
come there. They are very interesting people.
Есть также и здесь подобные
And there is
мероприятия.
something similar here.
Изучайте, смотрите.
Study it,
Если вы
search.
хотите развития
If you
внутреннего,
want
хотите
inner
отношений,
development,
хотите
you
понять,
want
как жить правильно,
relationships,
нужно
you want to
общение.
learn how to live right,
Дома
you
и
need
работы
proper
недостаточно.
association.
Это невозможно.
Work
Дома
and
это
home
личные
are not
отношения.
enough.
Они часто
You
тоже
have
не очень
personal
глубокие.
relationships at
Люди
home,
часто
but
думают, что
often
личные
they are
отношения
not too
означает,
deep.
что мой супруг
People
должен меня
think that
понимать.
personal
Мы об этом
relationships
говорили.
is that my
Не факт.
spouse must understand me, but
Супружеские
it is not
отношения,
necessarily so.
взаимопонимание в супружеских
Mutual
отношениях
understanding between
развивается только
spouses
когда
only
эти
develop
отношения
when
становятся очень мощно
these
развитыми
relationships
духовно.
are
Я вам сейчас
spiritual.
расскажу
I'm
вообще,
going
как
to
это
tell you
происходит.
how
Вот смотрите,
it
в личной
happens.
жизни. Если
If a
семья
family
создана,
was
как обычно, она
created
создается на
as
основе
it
симпатии
usually is
просто,
based on
то это не
liking,
означает, что люди
that
сразу
does not
обретают
mean
возможность быть
that
близкими.
people at once
Симпатия
become
означает просто
close.
наслаждаться друг другом
Liking
и
means
обмениваться
enjoying
интимными
each
словами.
other and
Но
sharing
близость
some
означает,
intimate
что
words,
человек,
but real
близость
closeness,
означает,
real
что человек
intimacy means
может открыть
that a
свое
person
сердце,
can
поделиться
open
своими
his
духовными
heart and
реализациями,
share
своей
his
верой.
spiritual
Понимаете,
realizations and
сами
faith.
по себе отношения симпатии не подразумевают,
Liking
что
does not
ты можешь
imply
открыть
that
сердце человеку
you
и
can open
сказать
your
свою веру.
heart
Как только
and
ты
tell
начнешь
about
это
your
делать,
faith.
это его
As
сразу
soon as
будет
you
напрягать.
do, it will
Потому что
tense
отношения
your
симпатии — это
spouse,
корыстные
because
отношения,
liking
бескорыстные отношения.
is
В них нет
selfish.
чистоты.
There is no purity.
Они основаны на эгоизме.
These relationships are based on egoism.
Поэтому для того, чтобы в семье
So, for
появилась
the
такая
atmosphere
атмосфера
of
чистоты
purity to
и
appear in the
взаимопонимания, для
family
этого нужно
and
пройти
mutual
3 стадии.
understanding,
Первая
there are
стадия —
3
принятие
stages.
человека. Нужно
First,
принять человека со всеми
acceptance.
его
You must
недостатками.
accept your spouse
Вторая
with
стадия —
all
это
his
уважение.
flaws.
Это
The
означает,
second
что ты
is respect.
чувствуешь
That means
человеку
that
что-то ценное,
you value
важное,
the
глубокое,
person.
чистое. Не
You
просто,
see
что
something
тебя
pure and deep.
наслаждает,
He
приятный
does
человек.
not just enjoy
Да,
you,
ты
he is
чувствуешь
pleasant. You
что-то
feel
что-то
his
ценное,
purity, his
возвышенное.
value.
И третья стадия —
And
это
the
верность.
third stage
У меня
is
есть специальный
faithfulness.
семинар на эту тему, надо это
I have
серьезно
lectures
изучать. Это
devoted
непросто.
to these 3
Сделать семью,
stages. It is not easy
которой
to
ты
make
сможешь
a
открывать свое
family
сердце,
where you
говорить о
can
сокровенных
open
вещах
your
Христа.
heart and
Это не
speak
просто
of very
сделать.
intimate things. That is uneasy.
Это проще сделать в духовной среде,
It is
где люди
easier to do it
собираются на
in spiritual environment where people gather together to do it, to open their hearts and to discuss spiritual topics. Look for such association.
Давайте немножко с вами поэкспериментируем.
Let us make
И
an experiment and
возьмем, допустим,
discuss
просто
practically
практически и
your
будем сейчас
problems
обсуждать,
at work.
у кого какие проблемы в отношениях с коллективе. Если есть
What
люди, которые
business
склонны
relationships
открывать
problems do you
сердце,
have?
прямо смело говорить,
If you are
то
brave
можно
and you can
поднимать
open your heart, please raise your hands and we will discuss
И
it.
мы таким образом будем
And
дальше решать, как
so we
в
will
целом, как преодолеть эти
see in general how to overcome these difficulties. Please pass the microphone. I have been working in that place for a long time and we had good close relationships.
Под хорошие
Close
близкие
relationships
означает
is not
нехорошие
good.
уже.
We
Ну,
were
что
friends.
значит дружеские?
What do you
О
mean
чем вы
friends?
говорили?
What do you discuss? Everything.
Чай вместе пили.
You had tea
Всё, до
together.
свидания, работа.
Goodbye work.
Ну, это нормально для женщин.
But
это
that's
нормально.
okay
То
for
есть это
women.
хорошее, вы считаете? Хорошо.
You think that's
В чём
good?
проблема?
Okay. What's the problem? I told my friend about my work. She liked it. I invited her, and the collective was dissatisfied with me bringing my friend. And now I have to suffer because of it. But it was my boss's decision. So my work colleagues are disappointed. And there is a girl at my work and she is related to the manager.
Всё
It
понятно.
is all according to the lecture.
Ну, вот.
So he fell under their influence.
Но вы сейчас работаете там?
Do you still work there?
Работаете, да?
You do.
Очень хорошо, мне все нравится.
Very good. I like it very much. This is an interesting topic to discuss. All mistakes were made. First mistake, you made friends with someone at work. There was envy and the collective parted into groups. And the second mistake is that the manager has a relative at work. That's another problem for everyone. The third is you are close people by spirit with her, but that means you are enemies to everyone else. We just wish them happiness from afar. You see, these spiritual relationships at work, people become very tense because of it. They have business relationships, and it is hard for them. Just imagine this. You sit and work, you have business relationships, and next to you, someone also work, but kiss from time to time. Is that okay? No. And that's the same. If you have close relationships, you look at each other, it is hard for people to work in such atmosphere. You have your aura, you create atmosphere, and it is hard for other people to be next to you. So, at work, you must leave your spiritual interests aside, but we do not show it. Everything is revealed at work. You should be more humble and modest. Look what I advise you. In all situations, there is actions from false ego and true ego. There are difficulties at any work because there is false ego. People come to work to satisfy their personal interests. Hearts are not open there. Where there is false ego, there is no love. But where there is love, any ice will melt. And you should know rules, how to melt ice in business relationships. The first rule: you should not interfere in any gossips or intrigues. You should not care what goes on there. You just work and leave. The second rule: when you pray in the morning, daily, you should wish happiness to all your colleagues and ask for forgiveness and forgive those whom you have difficulties in relationships with, where karma works. The next rule: when you meet a person, smile to him and greet him. Make 3 columns and write it down. Ignorant person, passionate and goodness. Try to be more open with goodness people and serve them openly. I mean, you can make some treats for them every day, give them something. They will accept it happily and they will do the same in return. It takes a long time to build relationships with passionate people. You should work with them, do all your duties, keep your promises, and you should refrain from discussing some deep topics. You should not go deep into details with passionate people. If there is some discussion, leave it. Do not have close, intimate relationships. Just friendly and well-wishing. With ignorant people, you do your duties from afar, you agree to everything, do not argue at all, and stay away.
Все.
Do what you need and leave. They will be insolent, they will insult you, but you should forgive them and ignore. Like you do not get offended when a dog barks at you. And similarly, you should be with an ignorant person because he is in such a state where there is no solution. You just leave it be. But do you work well in that team? Well, yes. Then why do we talk here? Well, okay, thank you. Still, we discuss this matter. Who has difficulties at work? Please give the microphone back. There are women at work, and that's hard. Yes, that is. And I earned a little more than others. That's even worse. That is envy. In the atmosphere is tense. Tense how? In general? Is your boss, your manager, a man or a woman? Both, two managers, a man and a woman, not married. And what are relationships between them? Business or liking? I can't tell. They drink together. And do people talk rudely or politely? Politely. The company has a reputation. That means there is more passion. My advice is, do not open your heart there. Try to do some presents for everyone, do something good for everyone. Find your way to please each person. For example, if you have a birthday, buy presents for every single team member. Greet everyone and smile, wish everyone happiness, and when there are gossips, never take part in them. Take no sides. And if someone discusses your salary, excuse yourself, tell that you are sorry for that and that you have nothing to say. Do not prove your right for the bigger salary. Just be respectful to everyone. The relationships got better with your lectures. What did you do for that? I pray and wish happiness and giving presents. No, there's a lot of ignorance there, alcohol. That's okay. Forgive people for drinking. Do you know that people drink because they cannot not to drink? I meditated on a person who is prone to drinking. I went deeper and deeper into his psyche, trying to understand why he drank. A person needs a certain amount of happiness he needs for living. If there is no, everything is destroyed, including health. And there are three ways to receive this happiness. The first is to get it where everyone is supposed to. That is faith and spiritual life. You get happiness there. That is the source. Even if a mother believes in her child, that means that she will receive her happiness and she will not drink. The second way is to receive happiness from the goal. The person has the goal to build a house. If the goal is material, it is temporary, because while we construct our house, it is all fine. And when we can't, it is a cause of suffering and destruction instead of happiness. And the third way is ignorant. It is having fun. And do you know why people try to receive happiness from leisure pastime? Because they have no other choice. They have no goal in life that would give them happiness, and they have no faith and spiritual life. The only thing left is to relieve stress by entertaining, and there also are some options. There is an easy option to drink. When the person drinks, his psyche gets into a certain area of life. That area is controlled by subtle beings. They are called merry spirits. What happens to people then? The person drinks, and his psyche is in a bit different dimension where there are these spirits, and he establishes relationships with them. They give him happiness, these spirits, and in return the person gives away his will, and it turns into a habit to receive happiness from this source and no other. And people who are not prone to live for some goal, like passionate people, or to live for faith, like goodness people, when the person does not have these things, the only thing left for him is to receive happiness wherever, to have fun. Any person wants to have rest, that's normal. But goodness people, even when resting, try to be in the atmosphere of faith. Passionate people, even at leisure, talk about business and their goal. And ignorant people put leisure above all. Drinking is sacred to them. And we see that culture moves to ignorance, and any holiday has a bottle in the center instead of an icon as before. Be that a wedding or a funeral, there is always a bottle. That is ignorance. I told you about the wedding yesterday, and there were no bottles, no cigarettes. People really had fun and they were happy. Some people think that without alcohol there is no happiness, no drive, but that is illusion. When people have fun for real, not drunk, just because they are happy, that is completely different. It is much higher and much purer. And when you see such fun, it is unbelievable, like at our festival Благость, goodness. People are united into one family in 2 weeks. 600 people get acquainted, then they keep in touch. Alcoholism means hopeless situation. The person cannot live without it. He can receive happiness nowhere else. And also gambling and horror movies and internet, computer gaming. There is no way out. The person has no other sources of happiness. No one can live without happiness. And there are different types of happiness. Just having fun is ignorant, and it leads to degradation, if that is the goal of your life. Next, happiness in work, or when the goal is work, there is less free time, more tension, and the person is exhausted. He becomes very tense. That is a business environment, mode of passion. People get exhausted very quickly. And the third area of happiness is happiness in self-improvement, spiritual environment, prayers. Happiness increases endlessly there. There is more and more, and no limit to it at all, no end, because that is the goal of a human intelligent life. Stop searching for shelter in this environment. Go to your work because that is your duty. You earn your money there. That is what God wants. Wish happiness to all your colleagues and do not have close relationships with them, and you will be fully satisfied in your life. Your heart will open where it is supposed to, and it will close where it's supposed to. Imagine a person gets on a tram and says, "I wish everyone happiness." Are you crazy? Let us take you to a mental institution. That means confusing relationships, wrong behavior in some environment. I can tell you a little about my collective, my team. There are 60 people. Mostly it is our health center where we treat people. Everyone does a spiritual practice, and I am not the manager. I am the mentor and the teacher to all of them. There are managers, there are seniors, we have job duties, we have punishments and remuneration, and when the work is over, on Saturdays and Sundays we gather together for spiritual events, we pray or we have holidays, there are plays and songs, someone cooks for everyone. Each Saturday we have a festival, we gather together, we pray, we have a nice feast, we share our realizations. Each Sunday we pray together, and I talk to those who consider me their mentor. I give my instructions to them. That is the way we live. But at work we have business relationships. We do not have close, intimate relationships at work, but still they are different than ordinary business relationships, because everyone knows that we work for God, because all profit goes to spiritual development and not in someone's pocket. And also they know that they do something important. We treat people. Our goal is to make people happy and healthy. We have a pure, warm atmosphere. Those who have been to our health center experienced it. Raise your hands who have been to our health center. Did you feel it? Did you feel that purity comes from people that they want to take care about you? Yes? I would like to come back to the matter of happiness. Happiness is the process of enjoying. Is there some misconception? Is happiness enjoyment or something else? The state of enjoyment or... Thank you for your important question. But I guess you know the answer if you asked it. Yes, yes, thank you. This is important. The Vedas explain that happiness is a very elusive energy. It is impossible to achieve it. If a person runs after happiness, happiness runs away from him. Because this striving for happiness means egoism and interestedness, and there is no happiness there. Happiness or love are selfless. It is about self-sacrifice. And for that reason, the person who starts to live in service, in the mood of service, and it is really difficult to sustain this mood. It is only possible by thinking about the seniors. In fact, the person does not have inner capacity to be selfless. For example, I went and give money to some beggar. And then, even if I did it selflessly, I will think, maybe he is going to spend it wrong. So still, there is some interest. You give something away, but you have these thoughts. There is no guarantee you do it with a light heart. But if you do it by your mentor's advice, because your senior wants it, there is a 100% guarantee. This effect of holiness gives guarantee of selflessness, and then the person lives in happiness. It's one thing if I read a lecture from myself, and the whole other if I do it from my senior, by his blessing. It is very different. When the person lives in the mood of service and desire to serve everyone, he has no interest in arguments. For example, in this hall, you all came to listen to my lecture, but someone here can give me an example. If I act as a servant, as the one authorized by my senior, I will accept this advice, and if not, I will argue with you. You see the difference? Aggression in the heart comes because there is egoism. Being a senior is also egoistic, but if I am a servant and I want to make you happy, if someone contradicts me, I will not get agitated. So happiness is always about praise and not about running after it. People often want happiness in their lives, but that is crazy. It is madness to want happiness, because actually happiness is always something that comes independently of us. That is divine energy, and it is not under our control. Happiness is the praise that comes from your past good deeds or present. If you just feel happy in your life, that means that you did something good in your past. For example, everyone asks you, "How are you doing?" "I'm okay." "And you?" "Okay." That means you have a good period in life. But this period may turn into bad. These are waves. That means that we also did something bad in our past. You should not count on it in your life. Mostly people just want to have good life. And that means no suffering. That is madness. In this case, the person simply spends the happiness he deserved in his past life and creates nothing more. Living in this mood, wishing everything was well, is madness. The person must work hard for his fate. You must get out of bed early in the morning, because morning is the time of goodness and happiness. Daytime is passion, it is meant for work, and evening is ignorant, we have sorrows naturally in the evening. The morning is the most important time, and mostly people who want to live comfortably do their best to sleep as much as they can in the morning. But when the person overcomes this idea in his mind and his goal is to serve, then he gets up earlier and he defeats himself every day, because happiness comes from service. Here is an example. I got up earlier today, even though I went to bed late because of the lecture, and I also gave consultations afterwards. And I also gave a lecture in the Vedic Center in the morning. I had very little time to pray, but still I got up earlier. I sat down and concentrated on my spiritual master. I started to remember my relationships with him, and I prayed. First, I felt hard. It was difficult for me to do it because my mind wanted to relax and sleep. It was tired.
Но я знаю, потому
But
что это
I
делаю
know,
каждый день, что
because
если
I
я
do it
дальше буду
daily,
продолжать в
that
этом
if I
ключе,
go on
то наступит
my
такое
praying,
состояние, в котором
then
я
there
начинаю
will be
чувствовать
the state
чистоту,
in which I feel
радость,
purity,
веру,
happiness,
глубину.
faith, depth.
Я начинаю чувствовать глубокое
I
чистое
start to
отношение к
feel
людям.
deep
Я начинаю
relationships with
чувствовать
people.
победу над своей
I
судьбой.
feel
Решаются
victory
вопросы
in my
какие-то в
fate.
сердце.
Some
Начинаешь
problems are
понимать, что делать,
resolved in
как
my
жить.
heart. I know what to do, how to
Это
live.
счастье не зависит от судьбы.
And this happiness is
Каждый человек
independent of
каждый день
fate.
может испытывать
Each person
столько этого
every day
счастья,
can
сколько он
experience
сделал сам
as
в
much of
результате
this
своего
happiness
отношения со
as
святостью.
he
И счастье в
had
данном
relationships
случае
with holiness.
означает просто
And in this
награда.
case,
И другого
happiness
счастья
is
в жизни
praise,
нет.
and there is no other happiness.
Допустим, девушка говорит,
For example,
думает, мечтает,
a
я
girl
хочу
dreams,
хорошего мужа
I
себе.
want to have a nice husband.
Это означает, что будешь страдать.
That means she will suffer,
Потому что хороший муж — это
because
награда.
the good husband is a
Чего бы ты ни
praise.
хотела,
No
что
matter
положено,
what
то
you
и
want, you
получишь.
will get what you deserve.
Но если
But
девушка не
if
думает
the
о том,
girl
что она
does not
хочет хорошего
think
мужа,
about
она
having
выполняет свою
the good
природу.
husband, but
Женская
she
природа — это служить
works
энергией
according
любви.
to her
Она
nature,
заботится о
she
маме,
serves
о
to the
папе,
nature
о
of love, she
друзьях,
takes care
всем,
about her
готовит
parents and
пирожки,
friends,
кормит всех,
she
любит
cooks
всех,
pastry,
гладит по
she
головке,
loves
то есть
everyone,
прощает, просит прощения.
she forgives
В
and
полной
asks for
степени живет как
forgiveness.
женщина,
She
активно
lives
очень.
as a woman
Потому что женская
fully, very
природа в
actively,
пассивном состоянии, в
because in a
состоянии
passive
эгоизма,
state of
хочет любви,
egoism,
ласки и
a
внимания.
female nature wants care,
Хочет
love and attention,
того, чего ей не
the things
положено.
it did not deserve.
А в активном
And in
состоянии
the active
женская
state, the
природа, она
female
ничего не
nature
хочет, она просто
wants
служит
nothing.
другим
It
и
just
получает
serves
в
to
ответ
everyone
любовь,
and
ласку и
receives
внимание как
love,
результат
care,
служения.
and attention as a
Поэтому
praise.
счастье, любое женское,
So
мужское, это
any
просто
happiness,
награда.
male or
И основная
female, is
ошибка
the
людей
praise. And
заключается в
the
том, что они
basic
награды
reason of
хотят
people is that they
как
want
само собой разумеющееся.
praise
И вот этот
as if
вопрос,
it is
как вас
granted.
зовут?
What is your name?
Сергей. Он
Sergey.
очень мудрый.
He's
Это
very
очень мудрый
wise.
вопрос.
This question is
Потому
very
что этот
wise
вопрос
because
указывает на суть
it
жизни и всех отношений.
indicates of
Если
the
человек
essence of life
Но
and
самое
all
главное, надо
relationships.
понять, вот я чуть-чуть
But
отвлекся, допустим, спать,
you must
лег,
understand,
проснулся,
for example, I
нет в
got
моем
distracted.
сердце желания
I went
служить.
to
Каждый
sleep, I
день
woke
одно и
up,
то
and
же.
I have no
Много
desire
лет
to
и всю
serve.
жизнь так
It
будет.
is all the
Потому
same
что в нашей
for your
жизни
whole
это
life.
ложное эго
Because
доминирует.
in our life,
Эгоизм,
false
желание
ego
счастья себе
dominates.
доминирует. Его всегда
Desire
каждый
for
день надо
happiness to
побеждать.
yourself
Каждый день
is
всю жизнь.
always on top, and you must
Каждый день,
defeat
поэтому
it
человек
every
каждый день
day.
должен вставать рано утром,
The person must
обливаться
get up
прохладной водой,
early
снимать с себя
every day,
сон,
take cold
садиться
shower,
неподвижно молиться,
sit still and pray.
искать свою веру. Если не
Search for
молиться, то
his
искать свою
fate.
веру.
If you do not pray,
Вот
then
что
search
вы
for your
чувствуете,
fate.
считаете духовностью, то и делайте. Если
Do whatever
считаете
you
желать
think
всем
is
счастья,
spiritual.
желать
If
всем
you
счастья. Если
like
считаете
wishing
слушать
happiness,
духовную
do
музыку,
it. If
слушайте
you
всегда
like to
духовную
listen to
музыку.
the spiritual
Если
music, do it
понимаете,
in the
что
morning.
молитва сама по
If
себе,
you
сила
know
молитвы — это
that
самый высокий
prayer
способ
is
развития
the
личности. Если у вас есть
most
такие силы,
advanced
делайте
way
это.
to
Но
develop
если
your
человек просто инертно
personality,
живет, желая
self-improve,
счастья,
do
когда он
it.
ждет счастья,
But
эта
if
жизнь
a person
патовая,
lives
в ней нет
inactively,
выхода.
just waiting for happiness, that
Я
situation
просто жду,
is
когда придет счастье.
hopeless. I just expect
Выхода нет.
happiness. There is no way
Всё.
out. That is it.
Я ответил на ваш вопрос?
Did I answer your question?
Да, да, конечно.
Please
Давайте
ask your
по
question.
коллективу. Да?
I got confused with
Я
passion.
тоже.
Me
Давайте
too.
распутывать.
This is very important to me because I teach dancing, and besides controlling my body, I also help women to feel sexy, passion and sexual energy, so that I did not misconcept. Are these different things? I feel that passion is untamed energy.
А вы можете ей управлять?
Can you control it? When you understand the matters, I can.
Спасибо вам за вопрос.
Thank you very much for your
Вы
question.
делаете хорошее дело.
You
Вы по
do
природе
something
заняты
good.
преподаванием танца.
You've
Это правильно, это
engaged
хорошее
your
дело.
nature in teaching, and women should be beautiful. But you must develop in your heart, deep in your heart, understanding of beauty. There are two types of beauty. The first is destructive for a woman's life, and the second makes her happy. To be correct, both types give happiness to a woman if they are used right. There are two types of beauty or energy of love. The first is the higher female beginning. That is beauty. It has these properties. This higher beauty is present in each woman as modesty. Modesty, timidity is beauty. It makes a face beautiful. Also, it is chastity. A chaste woman is very beautiful. Another property is purity, being tidy and clean. That is also higher beauty. And also the woman becomes shy, she covers her body. The higher female beginning gives gentleness, tidiness, kindness. Please listen, do not talk. There is also lower beauty, and their egoism is very powerful, and the woman should hide egoism from everyone but her very closest person, and the woman must only demonstrate the lowest energies to her husband. There also are some energies for children, like warmness. There is also much egoism there. There are energies for children, for parents. The woman has the energy of love, and she must study carefully how to use this energy for her own good. But there is one type of energy, that is the energy of a female body. And it is extremely powerful egoism that destroys everyone's life around, not just of the woman herself. Everyone needs this energy of female egoism, especially if she is beautiful. Both men and women need this energy, parents and everyone. Even the lowest aspect of female beauty is very attractive and necessary. But if the woman voluntarily gives this energy to anyone, she destroys her life. Here is how it happens. When a woman exposes intimate parts of her body, even a little bit, and these are legs, breasts, when they are just a little exposed for everyone, this leads to the necessity. This energy is extremely magnetic and strong, and it awakens in man desire to enjoy it and to depend on it. It is pleasant for a woman to be dependent on. She feels her influence, and she knows she is strong, she can affect situations, but on the other hand, she must understand that this lower female beginning, this sexual energy of a female body, is meant to preserve family. This energy is meant for a husband to be next to his wife and not someone else. This energy has its limitations. If a woman demonstrates her legs and some other intimate parts for everyone, she wastes this energy, men consume it, and when the woman comes back home, she does not have that much strength for the husband to very love her. Her ability to affect her husband gets weaker. And it is interesting that in our culture it is all upside down. In ancient culture, all the scriptures say about it that a woman must put makeup and dress very beautifully and intimately at home next to her husband. And she must be dressed more modestly outside. In our culture, it is upside down. A woman dresses up to go out, but at home she looks very simple and she has no makeup. When there is an interesting question, then who is attracted with her? Her husband or some man outside? Because she attracts there where she shows herself. That is why there are 80% of divorces in our country. It is also about relationships. It's important. There are different types of dancing. There are dances that give a woman spiritual energy and power. My wife also dances Odissi. This is temple dancing in India. Firstly, the whole body is covered. The dress is very beautiful, there is even a crown. And in this dance, she becomes very noble, graceful, unreachable, glorious, very refined, but unreachable. Unreachable. And other dances, when a woman highlights her intimate parts of the body, and with this dance she arouses intimate feelings in men. That is good if it is in front of the husband. In ancient culture in India, there were these dances and women were taught them. Just imagine the wife dances like that for her husband. He will be crazy about her. That is very attractive. But no one else can see it. For example, some friends. I hope that you are not disappointed. We are undereducated in these matters. You should think over what I've told you. You work according to your calling. All women must do two things. Firstly, they must learn to dance and sing. If they do it, they become powerful and developed, and it gives them more opportunity to live. At any age, singing and dancing, every woman must do it. You do a very important job. Study how to do it right. Please tell about family business. A husband is a manager and a wife an employee, an executive. Family business, on the one hand, it is easier because you can trust. For example, you are an accountant. If a woman is an accountant, a wife, then everything is fine. If there is a shortage, then it was spent on diapers. The wife is a technician at production. You must understand that each man needs energy of love, intimate energy of love from a woman, or the energy of love from God. But without love, the man vanishes. Monks receive love from God, those who live in monasteries, and family men must feel love from their wives. If you have business relationships, is there love? I think so. I think yes. You are mistaken. Well, I understood it in this lecture. If you have love in business relationships, you will argue right in front of all your employees. You will argue, everyone will be surprised, and your husband will not respect you. Your relationships at work must be perfectly businesslike. You should not even tell compliments to each other. People should not even guess you are a husband and wife. And your capacity to build business relationships must be limited to the workplace. Once you enter your home, work is over, no discussions. You are a husband and wife, a family. If there is need, you can find a place in your apartment where you discuss work. But once you are out, no more work. And you must make sure that it is so, because if you don't, your husband will surely find himself a lover. A man cannot live without female care and love, because there are family relationships close that each person needs since childhood. A baby sucks his mother's milk, he feels warmth of his mother's body. Each person needs intimacy, and it comes from the female beginning. And if the woman does not perform her duties, she does not give warmth, and only has business relationships with the husband, her family is destructed undoubtedly. He will love you, value and respect you as an employee, but he will get himself a lover. It is clear, thank you. We've already discussed the topic of working and family relationships. And what about those who have already divorced? What should we do if there is no one? People in the mode of ignorance cannot give their energy to others. They are locked in their egoism, and they can only build relationships as sexual relationships or ambitions. For example, ignorant people also have some association where they humiliate people, or they get humiliated if there is someone stronger. Ignorant people also have sexual relationships. They have someone for sex. And as for children, there is also just relationships of superiority. Do as I say, go there. Or, you are a nice boy, I love you. Relationships of superiority and enjoyment. That is all ignorant people have. No other happiness in life. That is a very poor and miserable life. Passionate people also have no close relationships or love, because passionate people just want to have wealth and comfort at home. That is the reason they live together, for money, for work, for a nice fridge. And all their life is focused on wealth. If you observe a beaver in the water, all day he constructs his dam. Dawn to dusk he just builds. And similarly, passionate people, they just sustain their life all day, and they dream about future. Ignorant people live in their past. It is even obvious in their songs. There are memories and sorrow about past. There's a white swan on the lake, and I'm going to take you there. There is sorrow in these songs for ignorant people. I will soon come back to you. There is sorrow in these melodies. Passionate people expect happiness in the future, they believe in it. The bird of my future happiness, please come to me and pick me, the bird of tomorrow's happiness. This is what passionate people have.
Людей в благости, счастье в
And
настоящем находится. Они живут
goodness people
отношениями,
have
молитвой.
happiness in
То есть они
presence.
прорывают вот эту
They live
завесу
with relationships
веры,
and
веры
prayer.
будущего и скорби в
They
прошлом. Они просто
break
сейчас
through
служат друг другу,
future
заботятся
and
друг о
past.
друге,
They
поэтому
just
испытывают
serve each
счастье
other
прямо
in the
сейчас.
moment and
Вот
they
если я
are
прямо
happy
сейчас
right now.
открою ваши сердца,
If I open
сделаю
your
вам
hearts
приятное,
right now and
сделаю
I do
так, чтобы
something
вы
good for
почувствовали
you,
счастье, тогда
if
я
I
буду
make you feel
полностью
happy,
удовлетворен прямо
then I am
сейчас. И это цель моей
completely
жизни.
satisfied
Это
right now,
точно,
and
четко
that is the
осознаю.
goal of my life. I am acutely
Вот
aware
прямо
of
сейчас
it.
цель моя в этом
This is my
заключается.
goal right now.
И поэтому для того, чтобы
And
понять,
for a lonely
вести себя
woman to
женщине
understand how to
одинокой,
behave,
надо понять, где она
she must
находится.
understand
Благость,
where she
страсть
is,
или невежество.
in which
Потому
mode,
что благостная
goodness,
женщина не бывает
passionate,
одинокой
or
вообще
ignorant.
никогда.
Because a goodness woman is
Страсти,
never lonely.
хоть одинокая, хоть не одинокая, она
In
все равно
passion, a
одинокая.
woman is
Страсти,
lonely
вот человек
whether
жил
she
в
has
семье,
someone
он мог
or
сердце
not.
открыть. Он мог
Passionate
поделиться.
people cannot open their hearts in family life. They just enjoy each other. There is a psychologist, Alyoshina. She calculated that for 7 to 9 years, people like each other in family, and it fades away gradually. But then there comes the time when spouses consider divorce, and unless they start to serve each other, they break up. So either the two break up earlier, once there is less liking, or they get to a very bad point together, and then they consider what to do next. If they start to serve each other and do not expect enjoyment, then they go back up in their relationships. Do you want to enjoy your life, or you want to experience service and love? Ask yourself, what do you want? No one can always enjoy life. Sometimes there is enjoyment, sometimes not. There are waves. There are good periods you enjoy. There are bad periods you suffer. There are waves. What do you want? If you want to serve and to live in the mode of goodness, then there is no loneliness for a woman. She serves to her friends, she takes care about them, she serves her parents, some dog in the street, she makes pies for her neighbor, an old lady, she helps her to wash and clean. Such woman is constantly happy. She has no sorrows or loneliness. Loneliness means you have no one to serve you, but in our society everyone needs female energy, so that is virtually impossible. There are no men and women in our society. There are just robots left who go to work and then watch TV at home. I go out and look at the village. Young women are walking and I feel fine. Where do women walk? Where is it joyful? All women drive cars. No one walks. No relationships. No purity and warmth. I came to San Francisco to give lectures. I walked out in the street and it was terrible. No one there at all. I wanted to get acquainted with the Americans, and they all were inside cars. And how do you get acquainted? On the internet. No relationships. Because the more there is passion in the society, the more business relationships and less close relationships, less female energy. What is real culture? All neighbors are close people. We take care about our neighbors, we serve them. All the birds are also close to us, and women create this atmosphere of kindredness, of love. We love all our neighbors, we plant flowers. If there is just one woman that takes care about the staircase, she plants flowers, she washes there, then no one will litter because they will be ashamed. When there is female energy of love, people have conscience. Imagine it is also nice in your stairs and you cannot really litter. But if the stairs is empty and there is dirt, then no problem, you can throw some garbage. Then imagine a thief enters the staircase where everything is nice. Will he steal there? No, because it's dangerous. There is energy of love, people know each other. Someone hears some noise and he will call the police. The second option, the staircase is dirty, then all thieves are welcome. No one will even pay attention. There is a lack of female energy in the society. There is no care. Dogs are hungry in the streets, and also birds. And you ask how a lonely woman can love. Do you know that your love is so required? And you will not have a spare minute if you live in the mode of goodness instead of dreaming about a husband. You should not think about it. You should not think about your future happiness, that is passion. It will never come, because when you dream about the husband, you waste your energy of marriage. You waste that you are supposed to have in the future, because you live in your dream. Is that clear? The goal of a person is not to try enjoy what he has, but to endeavor to get from ignorance to passion. When the person is secluded and he is in sorrow, he lives in his dreams or hatred. He has no forgiveness, he feels sad and miserable. That means that he must achieve success in his life. First, it's passion. He must forgive, he must start to work instead of dreaming. He must learn some profession, he must be useful to people. He must become a part of society. Once the person is active, he feels like a real person. He can move to spiritual life. Try to understand that you need faith, you must pray, wish everyone happiness, you must learn to have deep relationships, you must find friends, and in the end, a mentor who will open your eyes to this world. And then life is in full blossom. But when the person just dreams, and he looks for happiness in the wrong places. For example, he wants close relationships at work. He opens his heart where there are passion and ignorance. He does not follow place, time, and circumstances rule. Then he will surely suffer. So, knowledge is the most important acquisition in one's life. Knowledge is what saves our life. It is of utmost importance. Not the knowledge of how many scales there are on a snake's body, but knowledge of life, how to live right. There are rules and laws, and they were not created by the state. There are state laws, they are also necessary, but there are laws from the scriptures and they are created by God. They always work and you cannot avoid them. More questions about work relationships?
Я извиняюсь, что я так
I'm
немножко
sorry for
специфически
being so
разошелся,
expressive.
сейчас буду
I will speak softer on, I hope. I come here from the north for your lecture
Куда
specifically. I come here,
А сколько
is it
километров?
far?
Ого.
1500 kilometers. But it is not so much for Siberia. The question is, I have my business and
Ну хорошо.
the team consists of women. According to your lectures, I manage strictly but with love.
Расписали
Did
всем
you write all
инструкцию.
instructions? Yes, I have all instructions. There is discipline and no one is resentful when
Да.
punished.
Это мне вам вопрос
That
надо
is
задавать,
super.
не вам.
I am the one who should be asking you questions. I make celebrations at work. We have trainings for women. It is all great. But the question is, how can I overcome their inner arguments? Young women work for me and they argue. I cannot even understand when they have time for it. We have a lot of clients, but still my employees, they argue, then they won't talk to each other, and that hinders work. How can I reconcile them?
Научитесь другому.
You must learn something different, to be a mother.
Смотрите, все очень просто.
It is very
Вот,
easy.
допустим, у вас несколько детей.
For
допустим,
example,
три
you
ребенка,
have
они примерно
a few
одинакового
children,
возраста.
3 or 4 of about
Как вы
same
думаете,
age.
они будут драться, ругаться
How
иногда
do you
или нет?
think? Will they
А можно
argue
сделать так,
and
чтобы они
fight
не
from time
дрались и
to
не
time?
ругались вообще?
Can you make so that they don't?
Нет,
It's impossible,
потому что они дети,
because
у них
they
есть
are
такая
children. They
ссориться,
have
драться и
this
ругаться.
tendency to
такая
argue
мать.
and fight.
Мать — это
And
та,
who
которая
the mother
позволяет
is?
детям это делать.
It is the one who allows them to do it.
Надо посадить их, сказать: мы хорошие,
You
мы
should
поссорились.
sit them down
Ничего
and
страшного,
say,
давайте будем
"My dear
мириться».
ones, you had a fight. That's okay. Let's
Будьте
make
матерью,
peace."
отнеситесь к
Be
ним
the
как
mother.
младшим. Научитесь,
Treat them as
понимаете,
your
у нас проблема в
minors.
том, что в нашем
The problem is
обществе нет
that there
старших,
are no seniors
нет
in our
отцов и матерей.
society. There are no
Мать — это
mothers
та,
and
которая
fathers.
позволяет человеку
A mother
быть
is the one
младшим,
who allows the
делать глупости,
person
позволяет ему
to
себя.
make foolish
Может быть
things.
человек матерью, допустим, но не быть матерью.
There
Допустим,
can be
мать,
a mother
если
who
она не
is not a
позволяет
mother.
ребенку быть
If she does not
глупее
allow her
себя,
child to be
то она
more
не мать.
stupid than her, then she is not the mother.
Ребенок должен быть глупее, это хорошо, это
The
нормально.
child is
Надо
more
позволять
stupid.
людям быть
You
глупее.
must allow it.
Если девушки ссорятся, это их природа
If
ссориться.
girls
очень
fight,
чувствительны
that
по
is their
природе девочки
nature.
и влиятельны.
They are
Вот
very
представьте,
sensitive
чувствительный и
and
влиятельный объект одновременно.
they have
Обязательно
authority.
будут
Just
какие-то
imagine
трения,
it.
воздействия,
There will
ссоры.
be some problems, some quarrels.
Спокойно относитесь, знайте, что это
Take
будет
it calmly.
обязательно
Know
будет от этого
that
страдать работа чуть-чуть.
there will be
Планируйте это,
quarrels
вносите это
and
в свои планы.
it is bad for
Понимаете, что
work.
это необходимость в
You
вашей
should
жизни,
plan
потому что,
accordingly.
вы не сможете
But that is
преодолеть это
inevitable.
никогда
You
полностью.
can never
Так должно
fully
быть.
overcome it.
Женщины в коллективе есть,
There
будут
are
обиды,
women
ссоры,
at work,
несомненно,
there
без
will
всякого
be
сомнения.
quarrels.
Влияние друг на друга они будут
They
оказывать,
try
обижаться,
their
ссориться.
authority on each other. They are envious of each other.
Если человек взял жену, мужчина взял
If
жену себе,
a man
и надеется,
marries
что она
and
не
he
будет
hopes
обижаться, это
that
безумие.
she will not be
Значит, безумие.
resentful, that is crazy.
Ему надо прийти в себя.
He should come to his right mind.
Женщина, когда она
When
знакомится,
a
она
woman
такая
gets
покладистая,
acquainted
вся послушная,
and dates, she is so obedient and so nice,
обходительная,
she is
аккуратная.
gentle
Как
and
только начинается
kind.
личная жизнь, дальше
But
она
once
становится другой,
family life starts,
обидчивой,
she is completely different.
ссорится.
She's resentful, she quarrels, she insists on her own,
Своего в жизни.
she demands.
Женская природа так есть.
That's female nature.
Nормально.
That's
Женщины
okay.
думают тоже, как мне вообще
And
с этим
women think,
быть вообще. Вот у меня это
how
вылазит
can
из
I
меня
live
вот
with it? It all
Ничего
comes
себе.
out of me. I'm resentful.
Никак.
There is nothing to do. Just live normally, that is your nature.
Ничего страшного.
It's okay.
Мужчина тоже должен так спокойно к этому относиться.
And man should also take it lightly.
Женщина должна быть женщиной, матерью.
A woman must be a woman, a mother, and a father. We must learn to understand these things. These are not roles, these are realizations. We must be aware. If you don't acknowledge yourself as the senior, you won't be able to understand these girls. Love means allowing them to quarrel. Get them seated, pat them on their heads, and tell them it is all going to be fine, and send them to work. For example, two girls had a fight and they came to you to sort things out between themselves. My advice is, listen to them and say nothing. Just listen to both of them, smile, and once they are done, give them something tasty and send them back to work. And the quarrel will be over, I guarantee it. There is no need for explanations, just give them love. The main reason of quarrels is lack of love. There is no other reason. And when a person receives enough love, he calms down, and problems do not bother him. More questions? Describe your situation and we will give solution. I have a similar situation. I am a manager. I have 12 female employees and 2 male. And we build relationships based on love. And this year there was a party and 3 or 4 girls did not come. And I was offended. You know why? Because you made this mistake. Close relationships at work. You search for love in the wrong place. Do you have a family? No husband, and that is the problem. You must search spiritual association. You must find environment where you can open your heart, take care of people. Of course, you can take care of girls on your team, but know that they want to use you and always will. You are just the source of money for living. And this being like a mother, yes, you can express maternal feelings. Some of them will respond to you, they will respect you back and feel like your daughters, but some won't, and you cannot help it. Those who won't are a bit dumber, they are spiritually undeveloped. This is the way you should see them. Do not fire them or hate them. Just know that that is their level. They do not understand what is party for everyone. They have been working with me for 8 years. That means that they are afraid of you no longer. They have familiar relationships. You crossed the boundaries, you got too close. That is the problem of the manager in female collective. When you allow your employees approach you, they will get relaxed. Everyone else came to your birthday party not because they are happy for you, but because they are scared of you. You were happy to have a birthday party. And also some people who are your comrades at work, but everyone else are more fearful than happy for you. How can I get them back on the earth?
Вас как вернуть с небесной?
Who should come back on the earth?
Нет,
No,
вернуть с
you
небес на
are
землю
the
надо вас.
one who should get your feet back on
Потому
the
что
earth,
вы
because
ищете близких отношений не
you
там, где их
search
надо
for
искать.
close relationships in the wrong place, and so you suffer.
Желайте счастья этим
Wish
людям,
happiness to
заботьтесь
these
о них
people, take
по-матерински,
care about
но не
them
ищите от них
like a mother,
взаимности.
but do
Когда
not
люди вместе
expect
работают, в этой среде
reciprocity.
нет взаимности.
When
Вот у меня
people work
благостный
together,
коллектив.
there
Люди
is no
молятся с
reciprocity.
совестью.
My team
Очень
is in the
возвышенные
mode
люди, у меня
of
очень
goodness.
возвышенный
Everyone
коллектив.
prays.
Но на
They are
работе
very
мы не ищем
exalted.
с ними взаимности.
But at
Если
work,
человеку
there
нужно
is no
платить зарплату, мы им
reciprocity.
платим зарплату. Если
If a
он
person
чувствует,
needs
что он
salary,
переработал,
we
обижен,
paid
мы его
it. If he
успокаиваем,
feels
ему
he
даем отдых.
overworked, we let him
Там нет
rest.
такого на работе, что ты вот
At
брат,
work,
ты
there
же
is
духовный.
nothing like, my brother, we have spiritual
Но
relationships.
когда мы собираемся
But when
вместе
we gather
на праздник,
together
у нас
for
нет деловых отношений.
celebrations,
Мы любим друг друга,
there are
дружим друг с
no
другом, всё, у
business
нас другие
relationships.
отношения
We are
совсем.
friends
Там на празднике, но
there
на работе опять
at
деловые.
our parties, but at work it is back to business.
Так,
I am quite demanding, I have all rules written,
так.
but just one person turned his back on me and others followed. And I feel it happened about 2 years ago.
А вот это происходит вот почему.
This is why it happened.
Потому что вы не понимаете,
You
что
do not
в
understand
каждом
that
коллективе должен
in
быть
each
идеолог.
collective there
Нужно
must
проводить
be
с ними
an
нравственные
ideologist.
беседы. Вот помните, как
You
при
should
коммунистах
have
был
moral
политрук
conversations.
Клочков, да?
Remember
Политруки
the
были,
communist
и были
times,
еще руководители,
there were
да?
political leaders,
Политруки создавали идейную
and
атмосферу в коллективе.
there
Цель
were
какая-то должна быть
ideas
на работе
given,
общая.
common
Общее
goals,
видение, общее
common
понимание
vision,
этикета отношений.
understanding
Есть старший,
of
есть младший, мы всё
relationships.
это
There
изучаем.
were
И
seniors and
идеолог,
minors,
есть у него эта должность
and
или
the
нет, он собирает
ideologist
людей
gathered
и
everyone
проводит такие
together
занятия. Пускай он
and
называется
gave
как
classes.
специалистом по кадрам или
You
по
can call
отношениям,
him
имеет
an
значение.
HR manager or work
Если такого
relationships
человека нет,
manager.
тогда, несомненно,
But
появится
if there is
идеолог,
no
который
such
будет
person,
создавать
there will be
другой
another
коллектив,
ideologist
другую
who will
атмосферу.
create some
Теперь
other
мне вам
atmosphere.
совет.
Here
Мой вам
is my
совет.
advice.
Если в коллективе появился
If
идеолог,
there is
который
an
настраивает
ideologist
людей
at your
против
work
вас,
who
то
turns
вам не
people
надо
against you,
здесь проявлять
you should
терпение,
not be
сострадание,
patient or
смирение.
compassionate
Просто
or humble.
увольте этого
Just
человека с
fire that person. She is quitting herself. Well, let her.
Дайте ей еще
And,
денежек на дорогу.
Also give her
Позаботьтесь,
some
чтобы она
money,
уволилась быстрее.
good riddance,
Позаботьтесь
make
об
her
этом плане.
quit quicker,
Потому что идеолог, он может или
because
создать
the
атмосферу
ideologist
счастья в
can
коллективе, или
either
полностью его
create
уничтожить. Это
happiness
самый
or
опасный
destroy it
человек или
completely.
самый важный
That
человек.
is either the
Вы
most
должны
important
задуматься о том, что в
or
вашем
the most
коллективе должен
dangerous
быть свой
person.
идеолог.
But you
Это
must
уже
have
немножко
an
не тема
ideologist
отношений,
of your
другая
own.
тема, тема
This is
структуры
not about
коллектива.
relationships,
Я
it is
руководителям
about
это объясняю всем.
work team
Обязательно должен быть
structure.
человек, который
But
обучает людей
there
общаться
must
друг
be
с
the
другом
person
и
who
отношения строить.
teaches everyone to build
Если этого
relationships
нет,
at
то,
work.
значит, коллектив,
If
появляется
there is
человек,
no
который
one,
свое мнение
then
рассказывает
there
об
comes
отношениях.
someone who has his opinion.
В этом главная проблема, а не в том,
That
что
is
они на
the
праздник не
main
пришли. Ведь
problem, and not that they did not come to your
правда? На
party.
праздник не пришли, надо простить. Женщины
Forgive
могут не
them
прийти
for
на праздник
that.
по многим причинам.
There are many
Например, у
reasons
женщины
for women
психика
not to
волнами
come
идет.
to parties. For
У
example,
женщины никогда настроение не стоит на
female
месте. И бывает
psyche
такой пик
is
у женщины
always
в жизни,
moving,
когда она
and
вообще никуда
sometimes
идти не хочет.
there is a
Она
moment
просто хочет
when
дома сидеть
a
и
woman
отдыхать.
wants to go nowhere. She just
И
stays at
если
home and has
женщина
rest.
куда-то не пришла, не надо
And
сильно на это обращать внимание.
you should not pay
Это
much
означает, что в ней
attention
как
to
раз
it.
такой
That
период в
means
жизни.
there is that bad moment.
Понятно, да? Это чисто физиологически
It
происходит.
is purely physiological.
Также надо понять, что
You should also understand that
иногда люди ближе ко мне,
sometimes
иногда
people
дальше.
are closer to
И
you,
поэтому
sometimes
они
farther,
просто не могут на праздники приходить
and
чисто, потому что им
some
тяжело чисто
cannot come
психологически.
to the parties because it is difficult for them
Никогда
mentally.
не бывает, что все были очень близки.
Everyone cannot
Всегда
be
люди
close at
распределяются
work.
таким образом.
People are divided into groups. One person receives all piety, the one who serves everyone, and he is at the top of the whole team, and he is the favorite, and all happiness, all blessings come to him. And also there is a person who is most unsatisfied. He works worse, and if you fire this one, there will be someone else. It is inevitable. And that person collects all the worst things in the team. There are people like that at work. It's inevitable. You cannot help it. You should just accept it. But the major mistake that I saw, but you do not accept it, although I've repeated it a number of times, the major mistake is that you search happiness in spirituality there where there are no. Remember, it all depends on the way you build relationships. Here are no business relationships between us. We have relationships of respect and love here. Even if I speak strictly, it's out of love. But if we met not to find the truth and purity, but to earn money, then this motive that unites people does not allow them show purity and spirituality. At work, people must express respect, tolerance, care for each other and other people. You must be a mother to them, you must be strict and punish, you must make rules. It is all called business life. Now remember, you should not expect sincerity, faith, spirituality, purity, selflessness. These are not the things to expect. They are only possible in pure spiritual relationships, which means we go to the temple together, we go to the lectures, we attend spiritual festivals, we go on pilgrimages, we gather together somewhere, and we discuss some moral topics. That is completely different. When people live in passion, they have no idea that such life is possible. And this life is the most important. It is search for God. Most happiness comes from there. There is more faith and purity. Some search for spiritual relationships in their family, but the family must be developed. If you cannot find it there, your family falls apart. My spouse does not understand this, but you must come together to this, and it takes years. Or we search spiritual relationships at work, and there are also disappointments because motives are completely different. You can play spirituality there. If you are the senior, you can create this atmosphere, but for your employees it will be only a game to get salary. Why doing it artificially? Take care of your employees and know that your relationships are limited by the motive, and these limits cannot be crossed, and that is your mistake. You want warmness and closeness where there is no. If you want personal relationships, learn to have friends. A woman must surely have girlfriends with whom she speaks on the phone. Otherwise, she isn't happy. A woman gives strength to her husband and children. She does not take it from them, but she gains strength from speaking to her parents, friends, and also she can gain strength from some pets, which is not so good, because she also gets animal consciousness from that. You become like the ones you associate with. The woman must restore her strength from relationships with girlfriends and parents and other relatives. Is that clear? And you cannot gain strength from your husband. If you want your husband to give you strength, he will take it away from you. Husband is your object of service. Find girlfriends, find spiritually developed people. I talk too much, I'm sorry. You see, I sometimes cannot stop speaking. I have an assistant, a very wise young man who studied from me. Now he reads lectures and he is loved by everyone. His name is Evgeny Koinov. If you come to his lecture, you won't regret it. There are lectures in September, Prayer as Awakening. Please come to his lecture. He is very wise. The next question on relationships at work. Hello. I am very resentful with my manager. It's a young man, under 30. Does he smile to you? He smiles at all of us. Relationships in the mode of passion. He makes a beautiful American smile. How are you doing? How was your weekend? And all subordinates are young women. He settled nicely. What offends me? There is much work. He is highly qualified and good working, and if he does something himself, he does it very fast, and he gets results, and he demands the same of us. But we cannot. We have to stay late. No one makes us, but there is really very much work. What is your specialty? I am an economist. I advise you to find another job with less money. There is a choice before you. Either you live like this and you will get used to it. That is passionate environment. You are exhausted, you have to work more. There is a smile externally, but you really work hard. It's not the problem of your manager. It is the style of life that he chose for himself. I thought about changing job, but I do not have the guts yet. But this is my situation for now. What offends us? Not that we have to stay long, but for us it feels like he just controls. He does nothing himself and he does not stay long. He just walks around and waits for result. This is passionate environment. What did you expect? That means business relationships. You need results and you do not care about their lives. You want goodness. Well, not goodness, but it is really hard like that. He cannot do differently. He thinks differently. There is no way out. You cannot change it. You cannot change the situation. It is in the mode of passion. Hearts are stone-like there. It is all about profit. but you believe in something different and you are wrong.
Верите в то, чего нет.
You believe in
Поэтому
something that does not exist and you suffer.
Нет. И если вы
And
попадете в
if
другой
you
коллектив
get
с
another
целью
job
заработать побольше
wanting
денег,
to earn more
есть
money,
две цели
there are two
деятельности.
goals
Одна благостная,
in work.
другая страстная.
One is goodness and
Человек
another is
попадает
passionate.
туда, какие у
And
него
the
цели.
person
Если цель
gets
деньги,
the
вы
job
попадаете
depending
в
on his
страстный
goal.
коллектив. Если деньги
If it's
стоят на
money,
втором месте,
then
а
it's
отношения на
passionate
первом,
environment.
тогда вы
But
попадаете
if
в благостный.
relationships come
Деньги
first,
стоят на втором
then
месте, когда
you
вы
get
понимаете
goodness
ценность жизни.
environment.
Что для вас более
You
ценно не
must
иметь деньги, а
understand
иметь
what
отношения.
is more
Это значит,
valuable
что
in
у
your
вас у
life,
самой
not
благостный
money,
характер.
but relationships.
Страстный
In this
характер
case,
означает, деньги
you
важнее, чем
are in the
отношения.
mode of
Это
goodness.
значит, что вы попадаете в деловой
But if
коллектив,
you
вас
want
там будут
money,
эксплуатировать.
you get more business relationships and you will be exploited. Thank you.
Спасибо вам.
Thank
Я вам
you.
еще кое-что
There
скажу.
is one
Важно,
more
это
thing.
важно.
It's
Даже
important.
если вы все-таки
Even if you are affected with desire for money and wealth, it's normal. It is just your inner possibilities, your development, but there is one recipe to help you. First, accept this life. Know that there is no way out, and you will feel better. When you accept this austerity, you will be better. You know that you will have to work more than you expect in this situation. And second, try to understand that you are a woman and you have a female power. For example, if someone presses you with a duty or responsibility, you can obey, but be a woman. It means you press a woman and then you can't. Naturally, a woman has no responsibility. She establishes relationships of gratitude and love. There is no responsibility. But if you have no gratitude to your boss, you have no enthusiasm to work. That is the problem. You are tired because you want to have relationships of gratitude and love. But there is a fine line that you do not see. If you behaved like a woman at work, there would have been no problems. For example, he asks you to do more work, and you respond, "Okay, I'll do what I can." Not what you can, but you do as you're supposed to. "Okay, I'll do my best." And you just do what you can. And he has two options, either to fire you or to let you be. But if you work normally, he gets used to you and he demands less of you. He will demand more of women who are afraid to give energy of love and they work like a small part of a big mechanism. But the real woman never does that. She behaves at work so that she was treated as a woman. She is very gentle and kind to everyone, and she does not take too much responsibility. And there are two types of women at your work. Observe it. The first type of women are not too bothered with work. They behave kindly with everyone, and they work as much as they can. And when they are asked to work better, they smile back. There are none like that. Then that is the problem at your work. No role model. Only women like that survive at hard work. Everyone else leaves. I can make a prediction about your collective. No woman will work there for longer than 5 years. Only the one that behaves the way I said can stay longer. She works as much as she can, and if your boss does not accept these rules, he will have a circulation of employees. Has anyone worked for longer than 5 years there? As there are very few prestigious companies in Omsk with good salaries, everyone values their job.
Ага, тогда значит женщины живут
That means
депрессивно.
that women are
Ну, это
depressed.
еще хуже.
That is even
Это
worse.
означает страсть.
That means
Видите, то
passion.
есть люди подписываются
You
на
see,
деньги. Смотрите,
people
сила
do it for
страсти, она
money.
очень просто
The
работает.
power of
Смотрите,
passion
человек
is
может
very
выбрать три
simple.
вещи в жизни.
A
Первая
person
вещь —
can
любовь и отношения.
select
Это
three
благость,
things.
означает меньше денег,
Love and
однозначно.
relationships
Дальше,
is the mode of
вторая,
goodness, but less money.
престиж,
The
деньги
second is
и
prestige,
личность,
money.
означает семья, до
That
свидания,
means
дети, до
goodbye
свидания,
family and
любовь,
kids,
до свидания,
goodbye
сухое, холодное
love,
сердце.
just
Здрасте.
dry heart.
Которое сейчас у вас создается.
And this
И
is what
третья
you are
атмосфера — это
getting.
невежество.
And the
Это
third
теневой бизнес,
atmosphere is
проституция там и
ignorance,
так далее.
that is
Когда
shadow
люди совсем
business,
без надёги находятся,
prostitution.
они работать
When
не
people
хотят,
are
деньги
hopeless, they
хотят
do not
каким-то
want to
лёгким
work, but
способом
they want
зарабатывать.
easy
Для
money.
женщины легкий способ деньги
For
зарабатывать —
a
это
woman, the
расслабиться и
easy way
торговать
to
своим
get
телом.
money is to
Это
get
невежество,
relaxed and to
подлец.
sell her
Для
body.
мужчины
That is
второй легкий
ignorance,
способ зарабатывать — это
and
быть
easy money for a man is
бандита, гангстерита,
bang
убивантом
bang,
и
we are
стрелянтом и любита,
gangsters.
пистолета, то и это, держим банка миллиона и плеванта на законы. Это невежество по-мужски. Но в любом
In
случае
any
невежество
way,
означает
ignorance
несчастная жизнь.
is
Там
miserable life.
создается несчастная, жестокая
Ignorant
среда.
environment is
Страсти
very cruel
среда
and miserable.
сухая,
In
внешне
passion,
теплая,
the
добрая,
atmosphere
внутри
looks
сухая,
kind
каменная.
and warm, but inside it is
Причина —
dry
желание
and
денег.
stone-like.
Когда человек
And the
ставит
reason
деньги
is
как
desire
основу
for
своей жизни, у
money.
него есть
When money is in the
определенный
center
круг
of
счастья
life,
в жизни. У
there
каждого
is
человека есть круг счастья.
a
Вот столько
certain
счастья
circle
получаю
of
от личной жизни,
happiness.
вот столько спектр
Each person
такой-то
has it.
получаю от
I
здоровья,
can get
вот
so much
такой-то
happiness
от
from my
отпуска,
family, from
такой-то
my
спектр получаю
health,
от
from
самосовершенствования, такой-то
my
спектр
vacation,
счастья
from
получаю от близких
self-realization,
отношений, от дружбы,
from
такой-то от
friendship,
детей,
from
такой-то
children and
получаю
family.
спектр от
There is some happiness
хобби.
from hobbies.
Когда человек ставит
When
работу и
a
деньги
person
как основу
puts
жизни, то в этом
money and
случае
work in the basis
счастье
of
от
his
отношений
life,
с супругом,
then
до свидания, некогда.
goodbye
Здоровье,
happiness
до
from
свидания.
family, goodbye health,
Работа забирает здоровье.
work
Отпуск,
takes
до
your health
свидания.
away.
Работа
Goodbye
забирает отпуск.
vacation, there is
Дружба, до
work.
свидания.
Goodbye friendship,
Работа забирает дружбу.
work also takes it away.
Самосовершенствование, до свидания.
Self-realization,
Работа забирает
goodbye,
время
there is no time for it.
Остаются только деньги,
And
престиж.
only money and prestige are left.
Больше ничего нет.
Nothing more
Ни
in life.
супруга, ни детей, ни с кем
No spouse,
отношений.
no children,
Квартира
no
комфортная,
relationships.
деньги, машина, престиж,
A
всё.
comfortable home, a
До свидания,
car,
всё
a
остальное.
reputation, and
Вас устраивает такая
goodbye
судьба? Нет?
everything else. Are you fine with life like
Тогда
this?
подумайте, стоит ли вам
Then consider
стремиться к престижной работе.
if you need prestigious work. I do not care about salary, but I care about professional growth. I have some personal ambitions. But if I quit, I do not know what I will do. You can do finances in a different company with different relationships. Thank you.
Не может быть, а точно. Смотрите, у людей в
I know for
страсти
sure.
сознание очень сковано.
People
Они
in
думают, что
passion
кроме этой
have
работы
very
ничего нет
limited
вообще.
consciousness. They think there is
Это
no
центр
other
вселенной,
work.
вот моя работа. Люди
Like
страсть
this
так думают.
work is the
Они
most
очень
important
скованы, у
thing.
них психика
They
очень
are
скована
very
и прикована
limited.
к тому, что они имеют.
They are fixed on what they have.
Вот как вы думаете, если
How do
меня
you
сейчас
think
выгонят
if
из
right now
России,
I am
я
kicked out
смогу
of
быть
Russia,
счастливым человеком или нет?
can I be a happy person?
А если меня с земли выгонят, я
And
буду
if I am
счастливым
kicked
человеком
out
или нет?
from this earth, can I be happy?
То есть убьют,
I
выгонят с
mean,
земли.
I am killed,
Из
I
тела
am
из этого. Я буду счастливым
ousted
человеком или нет?
from this body. Can I be happy then?
Конечно, само собой.
Of course I can.
Но человек в страсти, он ограничен в своих
But a
возможностях.
passionate person is limited in his possibilities. He is very attached to what he has. That
Что не
means
хватает внутреннего развития. Надо
there is a
развиваться
lack of
дальше.
inner
Благость более
development.
свободен по природе,
Goodness
более
people are
свободен.
more
Они
free
так
by
скованы
nature.
работой, там
They
и
are
всем
not
остальным.
so attached to work and everything. My boss is also a man, He is in Moscow, but he has
Критический день бывает.
bad days. When he's in a bad mood, he reduces to tears either of us. Here on spot, we are in charge. He is a regional manager, but he reduces us to
В
tears.
невежестве находится. Человек находится в невежестве.
The person is in the mode of ignorance.
Ни через что,
How can we affect him?
ни через что не повлияешь.
You
Нужно
can't.
просто,
You should
когда вы
just,
с ним общаетесь,
when you talk to
заранее
him,
быть готовым, чтобы
in
будет
advance,
гавкать,
you should be
плеваться,
ready
сморкаться.
for his
Ну,
barking and
неприятно,
spitting.
но что делать?
That is
Если вы
unpleasant.
работаете с невежественным человеком,
If you
надо
work
просто
with
держаться
an
от него
ignorant
подальше,
person,
желать
you
ему
should just
счастья,
stay away,
и
wish him
только
happiness,
деловые отношения,
and
и больше
business
ничего.
relationships
И
only.
подальше, такие холодные деловые отношения.
Cold business relationships, big distance.
Он,
He humiliates us.
ну, он такой вот.
He's
Вот
like that.
собачка, допустим, приходит,
For
гавкает.
example, a dog comes and barks.
Какие действия?
It humiliates
Ну
you.
как,
What
вот
do you
собачка
do?
сейчас придет, гавкать будет. Какие действия?
What do you do in this
Унижать будет
case?
всех. Пописит, покакает.
This dog, it
Ножку
humiliates
поднимет,
everyone.
пописит чуть-чуть.
It pees and poos.
Гавкнет, там, покакает, пойдет дальше.
It barks, it defecates and goes on. What do you do?
Невежество означает нет контроля.
Ignorance means
Нет
there is no
никаких действий.
control,
Если вы
nothing to
хотите
do.
быть руководителем
If
в
you
этом
want to be
коллективе,
in
и у вас
charge
нет
in your
другой
collective
возможности,
or you
вы
have no
принимаете
other
свою судьбу
options,
каждый раз,
you
этот
accept
человек
your
вам дает
fate,
объем работы каждый
and
день.
each
Если вы
time
пообщались,
that
значит, у вас
boss
есть
gives
возможность
you
помолиться,
work
попрощать его.
in your
Представляете,
heart,
как классно?
you must pray and
Есть
forgive
возможность
him in
заниматься
your
духовной
heart every
практикой.
day.
Берете,
This is a
молитесь,
great
прощаете,
opportunity
просите
for
прощения,
spiritual practice.
успокаивайтесь.
You
И
pray,
знаете,
you
что в
calm
следующий
yourself
раз будет то
down,
же самое.
and
И
know that
постепенно у
it
вас
will be the
создается
same
иммунитет
next
по
time.
отношению к этому
And
человеку,
gradually
и вы
you are
становитесь
immune
мудрым.
to your
Кто такой
boss, and
мудрый
you
человек?
become wise.
Мудрый человек
A wise
делит людей на
person
три категории.
divides people into three
Благостные люди,
categories.
с которыми можно открывать
Goodness
сердце,
people,
прощать,
you
просить
can open
прощения,
your heart
общаться на
to
духовные
forgive
темы.
and discuss
Страстные
spiritual
люди, с
topics.
которыми можно
Passionate people,
вместе трудиться,
you can work
выполнять
with
свои
them,
обязанности.
do your duties.
Невежественные
And
люди,
ignorant
от которых
people,
надо держаться
you should
подальше.
stay
И
away
с ними
from.
можно проходить
You can pass
испытания в
your
жизни.
tests through these
Можно
people in life.
выучиться рядом с ними.
You can suffer
Прощать
next to
их,
them,
просить
forgive
прощения, и
them,
лучше
ask
не
for
трогать. Чем больше
forgiveness,
трогаешь, тем больше
and
воняет.
best leave them alone. The more you touch, the more it stings.
Если вы это поняли, вы
If
стали
you
мудрым человеком, вам
understand
очень
this,
просто
you
жить.
are wise, and it is easy for you to
Невежественных
live.
людей, у них
Ignorant
сознание
people
очень,
have a very
свернуто,
folded
понимаете, оно находится в
consciousness.
кучке в такой,
It
из
is
которого нет
in a
выхода.
tiny bowl, and there is no way
Понимаете, оно
out.
свернуто просто на
The
достижение
consciousness
своей
is
цели.
reduced to
Ему по барабану,
achieving
вы для него
the
вообще не
goal.
существуете как
He does
человек.
not care
Если вы
about you as a
помрете, у
person.
него ничего не
Even
ёкнет,
if you
ничего не
die,
ёкнет.
his
Даже
heart
если
will
вы
be
близкий человек.
unmoved.
Вот у невежественного человека, если близкий
An
человек
ignorant
помирает, у него ничего
person
внутри не переворачивается.
feels
Вообще.
nothing, even if his relative dies.
Он вас юзал в жизни,
He used
Померли,
you,
ну,
you
нормально.
died, well, okay.
будет юзать кого-то другого.
He will use
Понимаете?
someone else.
Но и относиться к нему надо
But
точно так же.
you should treat him
Если он вас в день рождения не
accordingly.
поздравил, ничего страшного.
If he
Это
does
его
not
уровень
tell you
развития,
happy
всё.
birthday, that's
Надо к
okay,
нему
that is
спокойно,
his
нормально
level.
относиться.
You should
Как
take it
человеку, который
easily.
вот имеет такое развитие и всё.
You should
Но мы-то
see his
ждем
level
другого,
of
да? Мы же
development,
хотим
but we
человеческих
expect
отношений. В
different.
невежестве
We
нет
want
человеческих отношений.
human relationships, but there are no in ignorance.
Ну,
It affects our health badly.
на здоровье отражается по той
Your
степени,
health
потому что вы
suffers
не
because you do
понимаете,
not
что всегда
understand
в
that
жизни есть
in
испытания,
life
они
there
всегда
are
отражаются
always
на здоровье,
challenges
если
and they
человек
are
не
bad
борется с
for
ними.
health if the
Испытания
person does
побеждаются
not
молитвой.
fight
Если
back
вы не молитесь
by
каждый
praying.
день, вся
If you
жизнь будет
don't pray
отражаться на
daily,
вашем
the whole
здоровье.
life
Потому
will
что в
harm
этой
your
жизни
health.
существует много
Because
видов испытаний,
in this life
разрушающих
there are
нашу
many
жизнь. Вы
tests
должны
and
с помощью
challenges that
молитвы и
destroy
чистоты
us,
внутренней
and
возрождать
with
свою
prayer
силу.
and inner purity
Невежественные
you must
люди
restore
обязательно
your
будут в вашей жизни,
strength.
без всякого
There always
сомнения.
will be ignorant people in your life. There is no doubt.
Да?
Хотелось бы узнать, вот если руководитель
If
организации
the boss in some company
религиозного человека, ну скажем, приверженец
is very religious. He follows some very popular religion, and he demands his employees to observe the rules, at least externally. How should employees behave? I personally think that association with God is very individual, and there cannot be strict rituals. What is there to do? What should I think about it? How should I act or ignore when there is neophyte fanatism? Thank you very much. That is a great question again. If your manager, your boss is religious, that is great, but religious people are also in three categories. Being religious means being developed, but there are also three categories, and you must treat them accordingly. Religious people in ignorance means external rituals, high opinion, and hating everyone who is different. That is ignorance. The person does not really follow any rules, there are just some external things and hatred to all others. It is like the Nazis in Germany. That was faith in ignorance. And also there are people like that in any religious culture. There are ignorant people, they put on a show and hate other religions. You should stay away from such people. It is useless. These people do not have deep understanding of who God is. There are religious people in passion, and such person follows certain rules and regulations. He has faith, he follows his path, but his idea of God is limited. He does not understand that God gives each person his path, that God even allows cockroaches to live and takes care of them. God cares about everyone, and so He gives different cultures, but passionate religious people have an obsession. They think that their faith is the best, and everything else are illusions and misunderstanding. But there are a few points that they cannot reject or explain. The first point: if there is holiness in some faith, there is God. A person cannot be holy without God. If there are descriptions of life of saints, then it is true. The second point is that all the scriptures give the same moral rules, like do not kill, and it all comes from God. And the third point, if there is no God, then the scripture vanishes in time. But if the scripture has been followed for thousands of years, then for sure it came from God. And there is another important point. All people are different. It is impossible for everyone to believe in the same manner. There is different nature in everyone, and accordingly, God gives different traditions. Even within one scripture, there are different schools and traditions meant for different people. Take the Bible. There are so many traditions, or the Quran. This is how this world works. Now here's the question. If there is a passionate religious person who follows all rules, and at least externally he demands his employees to follow all the rules, praying at work,
этого пока не дошло.
It did not come to
Ну,
this.
по крайней мере, там
Well,
ещё
at
что-то сказали,
least
там какие-то
something
внешние,
else happened.
ну, сходили на праздник,
For
на
example,
религиозный
you
вместе, там,
went to
и
a
так далее.
religious holiday together.
Смотрите, есть два варианта.
There are
Во-первых,
two
вам повезло,
options.
что у
Firstly,
вас
you
такой
are
руководитель,
lucky to
потому
have
что это
such
хорошо.
the boss,
Если
because
человек
that
просто
is
в наше время
favorable.
верующий, это супер.
In
Это
our
означает, что у
times,
него
if a
есть совесть.
person
То
has
есть она в
faith,
ограниченных
that
рамках
means
каких-то
he
действует, в
has
разных рамках
conscience.
своей религиозной
Even
какой-то
though it is
конфессии,
limited
но
to some
совесть есть
religious
точно. И
confession,
она
but
будет
there is
развиваться. Если
conscience,
человек духовно
and
будет
it will
развиваться, он
develop.
преодолеет вот этот
If
религиозный
the
фанатизм
person
и
develops,
будет
he will
лояльно относиться к
overcome
другим культурам
religious
духовным.
fanatism
100% это
and
придет
he
со
will be
временем.
loyal to other
100%.
cultures.
Поэтому
It will
смотрите,
surely
вам
happen in
есть, у
time.
вас есть два варианта.
So there are
Или
two options for you.
сделать глупость, уйти из
Either
этого коллектива,
you
или второй
quit
вариант
that
просто
job,
принять
or
его уровень
you
развития и
accept
соблюдать
his level
спокойно
of
эти
development,
формальности,
and
развивая в
you
себе смирение
calmly
по отношению
follow
к
the
этой
rules
религиозной культуре.
and
Например,
be
я
humble to
плохо
that
себя в пример
tradition.
приводить, но
It is wrong to
иногда
give examples of
таких людей
yourself,
не сильно
but
доразвитых, как я,
such
вспоминают свои
underdeveloped
примеры.
people as me
Я вспомнил такой
remember
пример,
such
что
examples.
у меня было время, когда я
There
специально,
was
чтобы
time
развивать в
when
себе
I
принятие
purposely
и
to
терпимость
developed
духовных
humbleness and
традиций, которым я
tolerance
не
to
следую.
different
Я
religious
специально
traditions.
ходил на программы,
I
на
went
службы
to
в этих духовных
different
традициях, чтобы
programs
понять
and
этих людей,
services
почувствовать
to
их, принять.
understand
И у меня
these
сердце успокоилось
different
по
people,
отношению к разным духовным верам.
and
Я
my
начал их
heart
любить,
went
понимать и
calm
принимать
to
эти культуры.
different
Те,
traditions. I accepted
а,
them.
которые не являются моими.
But
А
later
потом я
I
понял,
fully
до конца уже
realized
точка была поставлена,
that
что это все
it
тоже
was
классно.
all
Что
great,
нет только моей
that
культуры, есть много хороших
there is
культур
not just my
духовных. Все это
culture,
от
there
Бога.
are many
Я,
great
точка была
cultures
поставлена
that
в
come
моем
from
сердце
God.
окончательно. И
And
после этого у
it
меня
was
появилось
decided in
много
my
друзей из
heart.
разных духовных культур.
And now I have many friends from different cultures. Thank you.
В качестве смирения можно просто ходить и делать
Just to be
эти
more
правила,
humble,
соблюдать и всё.
you can follow these rules. I wanted to be autonomous, and I told I
Можно
was
так, это значит, что он
an
лояльный человек.
atheist,
Если бы он был
and
совсем
he said
фанатичным,
I
то
was
вас давно как
hopeless.
атеиста сработало.
Well, that means
Но
he
он
is
не
loyal.
значит, что он достаточно
If
лояльный
he did not
человек.
fire you, he is not that
Находятся как
fanatic.
верующие. Есть развитые верующие,
There
есть
are
средней степени,
developed
есть
religious
вот
people,
самые неразвитые. Развитые
and
верующие, они признают все
they
веры.
acknowledge all
Неразвитые
faiths,
фанатеют,
accept
а совсем
them.
неразвитые, они
Less
только
developed
атрибуты
people,
носят и всё.
they get
Соблюдают
fanatic
правила.
or even just have some
Следующий
external
вопрос. У нас
attributes.
разворачивается хорошо беседа, да? По
The
отношению к
conversation is
по
going
вопросам
nicely.
можно много-много тем поднять.
Questions allowed to discuss many different topics. Hello, my name is Katerina, and I am interested in fulfilling myself as a woman. I had this feeling that I want to go nowhere, but I came here, and I am tired of my work. I divorced my husband, and I want self-realization.
Это уже не женское, это
That
уже
is not a female thing,
душевное.
it's a soul thing. I served my husband and I
Неправильно
got
служили.
beaten. You did it wrong. I guess so. And now I do not know what to do right.
А вы не знали, как правильно служить.
You did not know how to serve.
Две грани.
There are two sides of service. The first is
Вторая
giving,
грань
and the
спрашивать.
second is
Когда
inquiring.
человек отдает близкому
When the
человеку,
person gives
он
something
его
to
балует.
his close
С другой
person,
стороны, дает
he
ему в
indulges
сердце
him, and in the
чувство,
same time he gives the
благодарности,
feeling of
которое
gratitude in
не
his
видно
heart.
сразу.
It is not obvious,
Если отдает
this
правильно.
gratitude,
Если вы отдаете с
if the
ожиданием, что
service is
по-женски
right,
часто
but
бывает,
if you
это
serve
приводит
and
к
expect
разрухе.
something like often
Например,
women
женщина
do, it leads
приготовила,
to
покушать
destruction.
ужин,
For example,
села
a wife
напротив него и
cooked,
сидит.
and she sits next to her husband
Она
and
сидит с
waits.
целью услышать
She
благодарность, он просто
expects
готовит.
to hear gratitude,
Лучше
and
бы
he
готовила.
just eats,
Ни
and
один
she wishes
мужчина
she
мне
did not
сказал
cook.
такую интересную вещь,
One
он
man
говорит, «Я
told
сам
me
себе
one
готовлю,
interesting
потому что
thing.
когда жена
I cook
готовит,
for
это очень
myself
дорого
because
стоит».
when my wife does,
могу
it is too
оплатить.
costly. I cannot pay her back.
То есть
We serve in the mode of goodness. That means we think of God, not to have self-interest, or we cook for God. We do it selflessly. The husband eats, and you are not sorry that you heard no gratitude, but in this case, in his heart, there is surely gratitude, because the spiritual energy from this food goes nowhere. If you cook in a good mood, he has to be grateful. At the present moment, I do not want to work, I need money, no relationships, and I do not know how to get into goodness. I must do something. You must go to work. You need money, and there is another option. Go to the nunnery, and responsibility, there is a child. That is the highest responsibility, to go to the nunnery. If you have a child, you must work and develop spiritually at the same time. All people are bound in this world. We are not free. We cannot live without food, water and air, without clothes and home. That means we need to do something for other people to receive something in return. But now you speak of a different thing. You have no happiness in this life. That means it is time for you to do spiritual practice. Go to the lectures in your free time. Wish everyone happiness, forgive and ask for forgiveness. Please hear me. It will be easier, even despite your work. It is better for a woman to be in the family. Did you leave your husband or he left you? I collected my belongings, I took the child and the dog and left. The dog is important. And is he waiting for you now? Our relationships are complicated. I think that there is still love. Does he wait for you? I do not know. How long have you been together? 16 years. I served my husband, I gave him energy, I accepted him, but I needed a feedback. Well, do it. Call him and ask, "Do you miss me? How are you? Shall we live together again?" My idea is that going into past is senseless, so you are proud. Backward or forward, you have no knowledge, you do not know that God creates relationships, and if you destroy them, you are punished. Should I then allow my husband beat me? How can I stay in these relationships? Of course you should not allow to beat you, but it does not mean you should leave him. I thought it was a matter of life. That is important, but you can call him and find out. The situation is like this. We have common friends. They have his phone number, but he does not want to speak to me directly, so they won't give me his phone number. So I have no opportunity to call him. That means that there is nothing you can do. But if you make attempts, then you can overcome your fate. You should not live with the ignorant person, but you should leave him neither. You must live separately and wait for fate to resolve the situation. If he does not want to see you, then God will give you another person. But if you left yourself, you will be responsible. Let him know you are ready to come back together on certain conditions, that you do this and that. Make conditions. Do it through your friends. I do not believe that now the man that behaved like that for 16 years, we are not talking about him. I am speaking about your future life. I am telling you in what condition God will give you another person in your life. We are not talking about your advantages, but about your difficulties. I am telling you what to do so that your heart was cold no more, so that it got warm and attracted another man. To do that, you must let your husband know that you are ready to come back if he changes. That's very difficult. It is no more difficult than being alone. You do not believe in God and people. It is also ignorance. Beating a person is the same as not believing in a person. Learn to believe in people. For that, pray. Forgive your husband in prayer and give him a second chance. But that is not humiliation. You may try to live together again, but if he behaves badly, live separately. But you must follow the law of this world. God gave you your husband. Try to make the situation better. If you do not want to live with him, you will suffer from loneliness and emptiness. That is what you do. I think that this is a very difficult topic. I have many lectures on this topic. You must listen to them attentively. This topic is very vast, but the solution stays the same. You will understand it better if you listen more, but the outcomes remain, because there are laws that you cannot deny. You should just follow these laws. In any case, to do these actions, I need to grow. You need knowledge. You must study more. Thank you. That is good. We got a bit distracted from our work. Is it time to finish? Well, the last question. Good evening. At my work, we have partners' relationships, business relationships. And the case is that the person I have contradictions with is 2 times older than I am, and he is like a mentor to me. These relationships will cause you suffering. I do not understand. The mentor must be outside business relationships. Mentorship is in different culture. He may be your mentor, but not at work. He is my mentor in business. Well, that is okay. Then we have a different idea about mentors. He is just your job teacher, but a mentor is the one who has a spiritual force. But a teacher just has some qualification. There are 3 relationships of superiority. You can respect your seniors. You should respect everyone, especially your seniors. When you respect, you allow the person to have his opinion and you allow him to make mistakes. That is respect. Then there is a great respect. You show it to your spiritually superiors. For example, you cannot have high esteem for your parents unless they are spiritually developed. And if they are not, you should respect them and allow them to make mistakes and have their opinion. You respect their opinion and you do not argue it. And there is the highest degree of respect, that is surrender. Surrendering means that you are told something and you follow it your whole life. That is the spiritual master, your mentor. These relationships are very high. That person is just your senior at work. That's okay. The question is, that person likes to be in the center of attention. But we do one job together. And whatever I do, it is wrong. And whatever he does, he thinks it's great, it's the best. At the same time, he asks for my opinion and remarks. And then he hits you over the head with it. No, he just does not accept it. And there is no development. When I make some suggestions, they are always rejected. But his suggestions do not always work. How should I behave? For example, if someone tells you to stay out of his business, what do? That is that person's level of development. You have a problem. It was from the very beginning in that word, mentor. You do not understand that material qualification of the person and his personality development may be very different. A person may be a very good professional, but undeveloped as a person. Absolutely undeveloped. You accept him as a professional, but stay away from him personally. For example, if he asks for your opinion, you only answer, "I have no remarks." All you do is splendid. This is the only thing he can accept. Wish him happiness, forgive him. That is his personal level of development. And then you will be a noble person to him. He has his level. If you want to earn money next to him, if you want to get something good, then accept that person. Know his level of development. And if you do, you will be above him. And if you don't, you are on the same level with him. If he boasts and you are resentful, there is no difference between you. There is only difference when one boasts and another forgives, accepts his inner capacity. The last question. Yes, please. Good night. My name is Dmitry. I am a head of a new company. Today there was a lot about work collectives in passion and ignorance. These matters are quite clear. But as a manager, there are people around me. We learn from each other. That is great, great attitude. And there is understanding at work in this matter. But now there is a project coming, and I have employees for that, but each employee is so individual. They are like free artists. They have ambitions. They have big egos. And the question is, how can I unite them? How can I raise them to goodness?
Это непросто.
Goodness is
Другая тема, вы
uneasy.
вести коллектив
That
на
is
плаве. Вы старший в
a
этом?
different topic. You are the senior in that collective.
Вы старший.
Not
Как
by
руководитель.
age, but you are the manager. Yes,
Смотрите, все очень просто.
it's easy.
Объединять таких людей нужно идеей.
You must unite these people with
Нужно,
an
чтобы у вашей
idea.
фирмы, вашего коллектива
There
была
must
одна
be the
идея.
single idea in your
Развивайте
company.
эту идею, просвещайте.
Develop
Идея должна
this
быть очень
idea,
высокая.
tell
Такая
about
высокая,
it.
но доступная для
The
понимания
idea
людей.
must be very
Мы
high
работаем
but
ради
reachable.
такой-то цели.
We work
Поставьте
for
цель
this
какую-то
goal.
достаточно благостную.
Set
Или мы хотим,
a goodness goal.
чтобы мы, чтобы
Either
как
we
бы
want
общество наше было счастливо.
to make
то
the
есть
society
Поставьте
happy,
идею выше личных интересов.
put the goal above
Мотивируйте людей,
individual
те люди,
interests,
которые не
cultivate
способны эту
it,
идею принять и
and
понять, они отвалятся из коллектива
employees unable to
сами. И
accept
вы будете
it
видеть,
will
что их ничего не
go
интересует, это
naturally.
их ограниченность.
You
Ни-
will
это
see that they
значит,
are
что они
interested
никогда
in
не будут
nothing else,
развиваться,
and
пока
that means
не
that
начнут
they
думать об этом,
will
о
never
принятии
develop
более высокой идеи, чем
until
просто
they
зарабатывать
accept
тупо
the
деньги
higher
своими
idea than
интересами,
just
идеями,
earning
творчеством.
money dumbly with their
А есть
ideas and
другая категория
creativity.
появится, которые способны
And
будут
there
эту
will be
идею принять,
different
понять,
people
и
who
этих
are
людей
able to
развивайте,
accept
объединяйте
this
ближе,
idea,
давайте им полномочия.
unite
Эти
them,
люди
develop
реально
them,
будут
and
вам
give them
коллектив
authority.
развивать, спасать
They will
и
save your company
делать
and
его
develop it
сильным.
well.
Ну, скажем так, по
So,
модели
roughly
идеи
speaking,
подойдет, пока
those who accept this idea
не нужно,
stay.
в принципе, отсеяться, не надо за это переживать.
Факт.
And I should not be
Факт, но,
bothered.
Я из
People
наших
will be
слов понял,
chosen
что в
on
вашем
their
коллективе
own.
нет административной
But from
силы,
your
или очень
words,
мало.
I concluded
Похоже,
that
вы
there is
идеолог по
little
природе, идеологический
administrative
руководитель.
force
Эти
in
люди,
your
возможно, тоже
collective.
идеологи, но обязательно в
You
каждом
are
коллективе
an
должен быть
ideologist,
администратор.
and your
Администратор — это
employees
человек,
seem to
который
be
в
also.
своих действиях
There must
руководствуется
be
очень
a
простыми
manager
вещами.
and administrator
Работаем
who is driven by
абстрактив,
simple
абстрактив,
things. We
делаем
work
то-то,
these
то-то.
hours,
Если не
we
делаем,
do
будем
this and
наказаны.
this. If we don't,
Никаких
we
дальше
are
рассуждений.
punished, and no talking.
Административное мышление обязательно нужно в
There
любом
must be
коллективе. Если этого нет,
administrative
коллектив не
thinking
может
in any
управлять.
company. Otherwise, there is no control, only chaos.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Если только идеологи в
If
коллективе
there are
собираются,
only
они много могут
ideologists
сделать, продвинуться
in the
вперед, но там
company,
нет
they can do
дисциплины.
much and promote, but there is no discipline. They torment each other. You need a real manager who can control, who makes everyone work, who punishes. Very simple managing. Thank you all. I would like to say a few words in the end, important words that will give us meditation and wishing everyone happiness. There is a lot of misery in this world, and the reason we suffer is egoism in our heart. The goal of a human life is to achieve high relationships, and they are only possible with something in touch with God. All these objects are called holy or saint. These may be scriptures or a holy place or a spiritual master, spiritual music, etc. If a person is not in touch with these things in his life, he does not get strength from it. There is no opportunity to change yourself, to get developed, or to have satisfaction and happiness in life. There are many examples of people who lived together for years, then broke apart and do not want to get back together. And the point is that they enjoyed each other, and once happiness was over, they did not want to live together anymore. This concept of staying together is developed along with spiritual advancement. If in the family, along with economical development, there is spiritual development, people see each other like more than mere objects of enjoyment. then the two can listen to each other and accept. It is the same in business relationships, but there it all depends on the leader, the manager. Only he can develop the whole work collective. Employees only accept what there is. But anyway, an employee gets a workplace according to his state of mind. You must understand that. The goal of the human life is only one. We have goals that make us live for ourselves. These are work, family, children, but they will not make you happy. These are just things that you need in your life. But if the person is not interested in holiness, faith, morality, he is not interested in purifying his heart, prayer, forgiveness, if there are no these things, there is no chance at deep, bright, happy life. Furthermore, even if a person works in ignorance, but he is strong spiritually, he will not fall. It will be difficult, but his health, happiness, mood, and purity will not be destroyed. The main thing is to get right attitude to yourself. You must understand why you live, if you live right, if you waste your time or not. You must try to understand it with yourself. And if these relationships are correct, everything in your life will gradually change. You will get another work. Your family life will improve when you have knowledge. Your health will be better. It all changes depending on what you want in life. If you just want family, work, good home, that means that you live in vain. Because in these relationships, there is no deep happiness. They are selfish and are meant to sustain our life. Even with children, there are no pure selfless relationships. Children leave us when time comes, and we see that the child I invested in goes from my life and has his own life, and we then know there was no selflessness. Selflessness is only in spiritual relationships. So people break up with each other, children are not interested in their parents, and the reason is that in both family and business relationships there is no depth and purity. But you can have it in both relationships if you have it right here in your heart. If you self-improve and you start to understand your deepest need in life, then you become happy and satisfied. Before wishing everyone happiness, let me ask you one question. Which ones of you see me for the first time? Great. And please raise your hands, those who felt yesterday that some bright ray of light appeared in your life. That is important, because such conversations resurrect fate. You need to listen to the lectures for another year or two to change your life. I can say definitely, I wrote doctoral thesis based on my lectures. I studied this topic. It is called positive motivation for highest humane values. When the person is motivated by spiritual life, his life changes undoubtedly. This is the most important thing in the human life, and it gives you victory over your fate. If you feel movement in the right direction, please go on. I will be extremely grateful to you for that.
конце концов,
The
человек
direction
найдет
means
свою
your
дорогу, свое
direction. In the
развитие.
end, you will find your faith. It may be different than
Здесь даже в
mine.
зале присутствуют люди, которые
There are
имеют
people
другую
in
веру,
this
другую
hall who
поддержку,
have
ходят на
different
мои лекции
faith,
уже
but
много-много
they
лет.
have been
У нас
attending my
есть
lectures
общие
for
связи,
years.
общие связи,
And we have some connections, relationships.
И сели прямо.
Please sit straight.
Должна энергия вверх пойти.
The
Прямо
energy
означает
must go up.
концентрацию.
It gives concentration.
Надо вспомнить свою
You
веру,
should
свою
remember
культуру,
your faith,
святое.
your culture, something holy.
Может быть, это будет священное писание,
It may be a holy scripture or an icon or the name of God,
или святое место,
the holy place or relics of a saint, or holy water you bathed in, something that give you sense of purity and holiness. Remember it, bow down to it.
И вспоминать эту чистоту.
You must remember this purity and give it to others by saying, I wish everyone happiness. You remember something holy, you feel it, you bow down, you give it to others. I wish everyone happiness. And by doing so, we will feel peace in our heart, then enlightenment, you will know what to do in your life next, and then faith. The person will advance in his faith, what gives him strength in life. I wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone happiness.
Я желаю всем счастья. 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 Желаю всем счастья. Я 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 желаю всем счастья. Желаю всем счастья. Я 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 желаю всем счастья. Спасибо вам большое. Я желаю вам всем счастья,
I wish happiness to all of you,
благополучия,
love, fortune, health,
всего самого
all the
лучшего.
best.
Я очень
I'm very
благодарен вам
grateful
за то,
to
что вы
you
остались
for
со мной
being with
сегодня.
me.